Welcome into episode 3 of the Watchlist podcast. I'm your host, Jagger. Alongside me are Jacob, Chase, Christian, and Jordan. We're very excited to have you here. We are live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok, all under the same handle. Before we get into anything else, let's just recap episode 2. Episode 2, we did 1980s movies. Those consisted of Rain Man, Do the Right Thing, and King of Comedy. So if you want to hear our reviews on that, go back and watch last week's. We also did a comic book movie draft, and that is also live on TikTok with a graphic with it. So what we have ahead of us today is we're going to go around and talk about what we watched around the horn. Then we're going to break down war movies. It's going to be Apocalypse Now, 1917, and Pan's Labyrinth. Then we're going to do a bracket followed by trivia, and we're going to do picks for next week's movies, Sci-Fi edition. So first, let's just start off with Christian. What'd you watch this week?
Outside of the three movies, me and Jacob went to go see the new Captain America. I think we'll give our thoughts in a bit on that. Outside of that, I've actually been watching TV shows. So I finished Andor this week. I started Invincible. Jagger, I know you recommended that to me, and so far it's amazing. So
Incredible.
yeah, it's awesome. But haven't really been watching too much movies outside of our three picks this week. But overall, it was a pretty slow week, boring week. If you guys don't know, I'm training for a half marathon. So on Saturday,
It sucks.
yeah, it blows. On Saturday, I'm up to 6 miles, and it's tough. I like get very lightheaded at like the fifth mile, which is not good because I'm not even halfway. But half marathon in April, so just training for that, watching movies, getting through the week with work, and that's pretty much what's going on my end.
Doing that with anyone?
What do you?
I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah, so I'm doing that with my older brother Cole, his friend Sam, and then my one friend Kevin might join in. So it's gonna be in Brooklyn, April 27th on a Sunday. So if anybody wants to come out and support from the sidelines, definitely
Right
feel
to the-
free.
Let's go.
Right to the NFL draft.
That's right, yeah.
He
So
had
it'll
no
be good.
idea. He had no idea. Non-ball
Nah,
knowing.
I actually did not know the dates of the draft this year. Where is the draft?
Where is it?
Yeah.
It's in Green Bay.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yuck.
Maybe come draft time we'll watch Draft Day with Kevin Costner.
It's
I know
a
that's
great movie.
I know that's a
Yeah,
Jordan
it's a
fave
Jordan
right
movie.
there.
Me and my dad
So
always
bad.
we
I know
love
that's
that
a Jordan
movie.
pick.
We
I was gonna say
love that
shout out
movie.
Glenn. I know Glenn loves that one.
Glenn's probably our biggest supporter of the pod.
Right now,
I
I can
agree.
love the
This
car
shout out.
listening right now, going ah.
Honestly, the Gelman family's killing it. I think I saw Becca's also following us. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are killing it over there.
They're supporting. Let me
All
turn on
right,
a light.
let's,
I feel like I'm really dark. Hold on.
Wait, I do want to shout out our newest follower, Wows. He gave me the dub last week on our
All right, I'm
comic book
back.
movie draft and dropped us a follow. So definitely want to shout out my boy Wows.
Massive. We'll remember them. All
Yep.
right, let's kick it over to Jacob. What'd you do this week? What'd you watch this week?
What did I do this week? I didn't really do much. Like Christian said, I saw Brave New World yesterday. We'll get to that. Watched the new Severance. Watched 4 of the new 5 episodes of Cobra Kai. So, Chase, another big fan of that. Incredible show. In terms of movies, outside of ours, I saw Parasite in IMAX got re-released. That was incredible. I mean, I just rewatched that recently, and it's been a 5 stars every time I've watched it. But like seeing an IMAX on that screen is just absolutely something I didn't really expect it to be like that kind of a movie in IMAX, but it really was. Just like a legit all-time type movie. I think I texted you guys that right when I saw it. I watched The Red Shoes, which is from 1948. It's this movie about like a ballerina, and I know Martin Scorsese Martin Scorsese like played a big role in like restoring that. Like that's restoration. So I gave it a watch, and it was really good as well. Cool scene in it where like she's dancing and spinning, and the camera is like her POV, and it's spinning and stopping, and that's actually in Black Swan as well. They took that from that.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Um, Watched Once Upon a Time in America, like 4-hour gangster epic, Robert De Niro. It was fine. Like I was so disappointed in it. I thought it was gonna be like Godfather, Goodfellas level. It was just not close at all for me, I don't think.
Who's the director of that one?
Sergio Leone, who's like a classic director. I was like
watch
so excited
this.
for it. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm gonna
I was
pass on
not a
that
big fan.
movie. It's just, if you're giving it 3, it's just too much time to invest for me to actually watch it.
To give it
Yeah,
a
I mean, you might like it.
chance.
There's like, I don't know. I was just not a fan of it. I was really disappointed in that. What else? So the Led Zeppelin documentary with my dad. My dad really wanted to go see that. That was really cool. In IMAX, cool music. I saw a lot. I watched Spirited Away. Jagger, you also saw that. We'll maybe talk about that in a bit. Flow, which is like the front runner for animated picture at the
Oh, was
Oscars.
there
And
words in that?
sorry,
Was there words in that movie?
in Flow?
Yeah.
No, there's not.
Okay, that's
It's
what I
literally
Oh,
thought.
just
great.
it's literally
So
just like pure, beautiful animation and like animals just like hanging
yeah,
out. Kind of. It's like
You
it was really good,
I saw
but
the trailer and I'm like, there's definitely not words in this. Like, I'm not watching it.
yeah, I would
you
still
said
give Wild
that's
Robot the edge for
I
this
was gonna
year.
say is the Wild Robot a nomination as well?
Yeah, it is. I think Flow's like the front runner right now for the Oscar, but I would personally give Wild Robot a slight edge over it. But it was still really good. Like if you love just like really good animation, I think give it a shot. Um, and then I watched Thin Red Line, which was another war movie that wasn't on our list. But I thought that was actually incredible. There was so many like shots and moments that really just stick with you. The way that it's filmed, it's like really feels like you're in the war on the battlegrounds with them. Yeah, so that's a really incredible one. I highly recommend for you guys. I know you all really like war movies as well. So if you get a chance to check that out, definitely would.
Guy brings about 20 movies and 5 shows at the table. That's why we love him.
Every week.
Crazy.
I'm sorry it took a
I
while.
love
No,
it.
you're good. You're good. I like hearing all this stuff. All right, let's run it next with Mr. C.
What's up, everybody? I'm probably gonna be a bit of a disappointment here, following up Schnur and his catalog that he went through this week. But I stuck to the 3 movies that we had planned for this episode, while also watching Severance as well. You know, we're all big Severance fans here, as we've mentioned many times. Great episode. Big Milchick fan. See what happens coming forward. And I've actually started Cobra Kai this morning. Finished it this morning.
Finished it?
Finished it this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, I was up at like 8:30 this morning, and I started it, and I just couldn't turn it off. It was just
What
I
did you
mean,
watch it
Jacob
on
can-
2 times speed? How did you finish it?
Jacob can tell you, it's just like the episodes, like when you think they won't go to the next level, like they go to the next level, and it just like it doesn't stop getting crazier and crazier. Like you can all laugh, like I get it, like I agree, it's so corny, but it's something about it is just so enjoyable
It's an easy
and
watch.
just like yeah, it's an easy watch. Thank
It's
you. That's a
fun.
perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, slow work week for me, because of the All-Star break. So haven't been doing much. Also gonna be next week a slow week as well. So I'll probably have more movies on the table for you guys next week. So we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Cool. All right, Jordan, let's go.
I'll hit it. Busy work week for me. Didn't get to much. I did watch Past Lives, which Chase and Christian said they loved. It was very good.
I'm
Christian's
shocked.
that I liked
wouldn't
it.
have. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Not that I wouldn't have expected you to like it, but it's just not like my.
Slow.
You know how we have like Jordan's picks? Like it wouldn't be in my Jordan's pick of movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
We should
I
have
like
a
a variety
Jordan's
of
pick,
things.
like criteria on a closet. Just all of
Let's just-
Jordan's picks.
On the wheel, let's add Jordan's picks.
Jordan, let's have a Jordan's picks like week episode. That'd be great. Yeah, I watched obviously Severance, watched Past Lives. Didn't watch any other movies besides the 3 that we watched for the episode, and then I was sick on Monday, so I pretty much laid in bed and caught up, watched all of season 2 of Invincible, and so now I'm not fully caught up, but I'm on season 3 now, and that show's just absolutely incredible. That's it for me, yeah.
I do quickly want to
Alright.
briefly mention Jagger. I did
Mhm.
start Crazy Stupid Love last night, but I was
Wait, you didn't finish it?
I was so tired, like I had
Oh,
to
It
go to sleep.
happens.
Dude, you
I-
have to watch it.
I was just dozing off the whole movie, but like the first like half hour was so funny. Like I'm so excited to
Yeah.
It's
to get back to
extremely
it.
funny.
Yeah,
Wait.
I'm so excited.
Not to cut you off, Chase, but I completely forgot I did watch Crazy Stupid Love with Katie on Valentine's Day. She's never seen it, but I've seen it, and it was just, it's so good. I've seen it like
Yeah.
5 times.
Yeah, that's like a
I
top.
mean, I know Jacob can also attest to the. I was pleased to see the Ryan Gosling Emma Stone little cameo, not
Yeah.
cameo,
Yeah.
but I'm pleased to see their back in a big role together there. I'm excited to
I
see how that
think
plays
that
out.
I think that came before La La Land too.
Yeah,
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 it
it
did.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. It's like a top 10 at least rom-com for me, I'd say. Like
Yeah.
it's got to be
I'm
up there,
excited, man.
It's really
I'm
good.
excited. It was so funny. Steve Carell's great, obviously. So
obviously.
another show Christian refuses to watch. The
The
Office.
The
Office.
Office.
The Office is fine. It's nothing
Like
crazy.
season 1 is boring, so I don't know. Maybe I'll have to get
That's
past it.
crazy.
Isn't season 1 like 6 episodes though?
Sure.
It's a boring 6. I don't know what to
The
tell you.
basketball episode? The basketball episode's great.
That's the lone good one.
And
I will say.
Diversity Day is
And
great
Diversity
too.
Day. Yeah, Diversity Day is good.
I don't remember that one.
Because you
Amy
didn't
Adams
watch it.
pulls up in the first season.
Who?
Amy Adams.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's Pam's sister, right?
No, she's like that purse girl.
Oh no, she's
She
Jim's
falls in love
girlfriend.
with Jim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim's girlfriend, right, right.
Yeah.
All right, let me wrap this up here. First things first, I got to shout out my mom. She's the newest watcher. She'll be
Let's
listening
go.
to this
Yeah.
one.
Go.
Go.
She liked all of our TikToks, and she was like, "We're amazing," and then also commented on the comic book movie drafts. Jagger wins.
Obviously.
So that's like 3 of
Still
those
no
for
one
me.
pulling for me.
Yeah. So, no.
There's an last.
So this week, I watched Invincible and Severance again, but I find myself looking more forward to Invincible every Thursday, just over Severance for some reason. I don't know why. But I just like that better. Valentine's Day was fun. I got Green Light's book from Matthew McConaughey. Started reading it last night.
Let's go.
Already like some new things I learned about him, which is cool. Like I'm excited to read that whenever I do.
All-time Blaze.
He's the GOAT. Besides that, on Valentine's Day, I watched most of About Time. Didn't finish it, so I didn't feel like I could log it. And then played Monopoly Session. I think me and Sophia, like I thought we started the game at around 8 o'clock. Look up, and it's like 12. And it's just me and her. My back is like in shambles because I'm like leaning down over a couch, rolling the dice and buying properties. I won.
Let's go.
And then
I win.
I highlight three of my watches this week. I watched Perfect Days, which was beautiful. I gave that a 4.5. I did watch Spirited Away, which I gave a 3. I didn't love it.
gotta
I
watch
just don't
it.
know if it's for me. I'm not huge into anime stuff like that. I thought it would be. It just like it was beautiful. It was a really beautiful movie, but for half the movie, I was like, what is happening on my screen right now? Who is this random new frog character that just came up? It was just wild. And then last, I watched Ikaru. This is my third Akira Kurosawa. I'm gonna watch Dreams this week too, but it is insane what I've seen. I've seen Seven Samurai, Ikaru, and High and Low. They are 3 completely different movies. One is an action team-up movie, one is a crime mystery, and one is a soul-crushing sad drama. I don't know how you managed to pull all of those off separately, but he does it, and he's amazing.
Goat.
All right. Anyone else have any extra thoughts? Oh, we want to get into Brave New World real quick.
Jordan,
Yeah,
have
we
you
can
seen
get into
Spirited
that.
Away, Jordan? Or no?
No, I'm not like. I like anime, but I'd rather watch like a show like Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan or
Fair.
something like that. Like I don't love like the anime movies, although
Fair.
Akira is good. I've seen that.
Akira's sick.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch
Go
that
ahead. You
too.
guys can go into
It's like
Captain America.
garbage Captain America movie.
Captain America. We'll keep it brief. We'll keep it non-spoiler. But Jacob and I saw this in the theaters yesterday, and I think we were both pretty much in agreement with what we saw. First thing I do want to say is I don't know why it's a Captain America movie. I think it's more so a Hulk movie, like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. It's pretty base level. I think the writing and the dialogue was pretty bad. I think Marvel's been pretty poor with that recently. Like you could really see the drop off from the original Captain Americas to this one. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. I think the way that they
Obviously.
portray Captain America is, I just don't really care for his character anymore. Sure, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree with for the most part. That I didn't love it. I think there's been a lot of news on like the reshoots and how over edited it is. And I think that definitely you could see that. Seemed like a lot of the time things just kind of happen with no build up. It's like all of a sudden we're just launched into an action sequence, and it's kind of like I don't know, in the middle of a conversation. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Um, we're talking about Captain America's character. I liked the element that they brought where he was like speaking all these different languages and was kind of like able to interact with all these different people from around the world. I thought that was really good. Whole thing they added. I liked Harrison Ford. I thought his character had a nice little story, a little backstory with his daughter, who we haven't seen in like years and years since that Incredible Hulk movie. Um, and there was like a nice little thing about I mean, I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler, but just about how he like hasn't really talked to her in years, and I thought that was a nice little emotional element. But yeah, other than that, it was really just some cool action sequences and a lot of, as you mentioned, dialogue that was just kind of really meant to fill in the blanks of things that we weren't seeing on screen, rather than having like actual conversations or having actual character interactions that were interesting. And I don't really love the new Falcon either, the Joaquin Torres, I think his name is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of that character either. But yeah, I feel bad because I liked Anthony Mackie. I like him as Captain America. I like him as Falcon.
agreed.
I like Harrison Ford. But yeah, outside of that, it was pretty much what I expected. It was just kind of a whatever like background movie I could throw on if I'm doing laundry at the most.
Yeah, I totally agree. One thing I will say is for the trailers, the previews before the movie, Fantastic Four looks amazing. It looked great on the big
Yeah,
screen, and
absolutely.
also the trailer for Superman actually rose my expectations a little bit because I thought the trailer looked good on the big screen as well. So I know we kind of shit on it
Interesting.
last episode, or maybe it was the first episode, but uh, the trailer did look good on the big screen.
I agree. So the music in the IMAX theater like
Yeah,
booming was really cool.
for sure.
Interesting.
It just sucks. You guys all know me. Like I was always a Marvel stan. Like I loved all the movies. I thought they had a lot to bring, and it just like these last however many just brought my enjoyment out of Marvel.
They suck.
Like I mean, I would see all of them like opening night if I could, but I don't plan on seeing this. I haven't seen whatever just came out last, but hopefully this feels like the last like bit of Endgame junk. I know this is kind of a new start. We have a new Captain America, but like people seem to be excited for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I'm excited for Thunderbolts. I think kind of looks cool. Fantastic Four obviously looks amazing. So hopefully they're better days against ahead of Marvel, which
Yeah.
actually leads directly into the news. Avengers Doomsday starts filming in March of this year. It releases in March of next year. I don't know how you are going to film,
How's that possible?
edit, and put that movie out in a year.
It's a very quick turnaround
That just seems like a lot of
for
junk
Marvel.
to me, which is insane. I just think they're just not learning from their mistakes and not taking a lot of time with these movies. Another release starts filming soon. We have Batman Part 2 starts filming the end of this year.
Finally.
Dune Messiah starts filming in June. And then a Goonies sequel is now officially in the works. I know Schnur is a massive fan, but
Thank
I don't
God.
way.
know
Love
if any of
Goonies.
else.
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of my childhood favorites.
I've seen the Goonies when I was like really young, but I don't remember like anything really about that besides what's he say? What's the monster say? He's like,
Hey, you
go and
guys.
find your dad or something like
Hey,
that.
you
Hey, you
guys.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one where like
That's
if
basically
you
all I
grew up on it and
remember.
you watch it again now, then you'll still like it. But like I think if you watch for the first time now, it probably wouldn't hit the same.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
But yeah, if you
Don't
liked it when you were a
plan
kid,
on it.
give it another shot. It's nice nostalgia.
Yeah, really not a lot of news. We did get confirmed like 3 more castings for Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, which is cool. Also saw it's Tom Holland's stunt double is going to be filming a few scenes in Doomsday because he's going to be already taking up like with the Odyssey. That's already taken care of his time. So even more bad news for Marvel. But that's all we got from news. Does anyone else have anything?
Speaking of the Odyssey, have you guys been seeing some of the set designs that have been leaking and all
Yeah,
that?
the
Like
town hall.
I saw the Trojan horse today, just like casually scrolling through Twitter, and like I don't necessarily want to see it, but like it's just coming up on my feed, so I can't really avoid it. But some of it looks really sick, and I saw like the cave too. That got leaked. A lot of it looks really good so far. I'm starting to get pretty excited.
I finally
Yeah, the
started
town
reading.
hall looks sick. He's like building not really a spoiler. It's kind of one of like the biggest books ever. But the Cyclops in the cave, he's literally building it like a full animatronic using practical effects. Awesome.
It's cool.
Schnur, do you have anything else, or?
Oh, no, I was just saying I finally started reading the Odyssey. Actually, I'm like 2.5 chapters in right now. It's still early, but yeah, definitely very excited along with you guys for that.
Let's go, Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's kick it to our war movies. We're gonna start off with Apocalypse Now. Chase, take us away.
All right, so Apocalypse Now was my pick from last week. I am gonna do a letterbox description because I feel like I sort of botched the do the right thing description last week. So I'm just gonna kind of try to keep it to a T, and I'm also gonna give you guys some fun facts that you might not know about the movie from some stuff that I saw on TikTok. So as the description goes from Letterbox, it says, at the height of the Vietnam War, Captain Benjamin Willard is sent on a dangerous mission that officially, quote, does not exist nor will ever exist. His goal is to locate and eliminate a mysterious green beret colonel named Walter Kurtz, who has been leading his personal army on illegal guerrilla missions into enemy territory. So you guys know this was my pick. I had never seen it. I believe Jagger and Schnur, you both saw it prior, right? And Christian,
Yeah.
you all saw it, right?
First watch for me.
Okay. First watch for you. So I did watch this with my dad on, I want to say, Tuesday, and that was definitely it was funny watching with him because he was I mean, you guys know how my dad is. Like, we're watching and he goes, holy shit, did you see that, man? He's like, holy shit. And not really a spoiler here, but like the napalm scene, like, he absolutely loved with what was it, the colonel, which was really fun. But I liked it a lot. Some fun facts that I saw on TikTok that I don't know if you guys might know. Let me know if you have heard these, but I know that Martin Sheen. I know, Jordan, you're a big Martin Sheen guy.
Martin Sheen, The
Martin
Pardon.
Sheen had a heart attack on set. Did you
Holy
guys know
shit,
that?
I
really?
did
Did not
not.
know
He
that.
had a heart attack while filming, and I believe from what I saw was that it was during a scene, and while he was having the heart attack, like, he made them keep rolling the cameras, and like they went through with the scene like while this guy was having a heart attack on set. Pretty insane.
Jesus.
Another crazy fun fact is that apparently Marlon Brando came into set extremely overweight, and they were like really upset with how he kind of came into production. So that I thought that was really funny. Especially since what's his name? Francis Coppola. Is that his the director of this movie?
Francis
Francis
Ford
Ford
Coppola, yeah.
Coppola.
Yeah, he was like very upset and not happy with how Marlon Brando came in. He was like, we just had him for like this previous movie, and he comes in overweight as like a pig. He's like, how is he gonna get through this filming? It was really funny. Um, there was one other fun fact that I had off the top of my head, but I'll let you guys interject while I try to think of it if I can remember it.
Yeah, so I also watched it with my dad, so he watched it back-to-back nights.
No way.
And it was a 3-hour cut. So immediately this might be my favorite war film I've ever seen. Chase kind of briefly mentioned the napalm scene where Colonel Kilgore says, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." Absolutely amazing. And then in the back you can see like the soldiers like surfing on the waves, and he's like, fuck it, I need to get out there and like surf. He's like acting so casual and just like having a regular conversation as bombs are going off in the background. He's just like so used to it at that point. But just to like kind of see them as they're like going on this voyage to go kill Brando. What was his name again? Kurtz?
Hurts.
We are getting into spoilers, by the way, just letting everyone know.
Yeah, so as they're going down the river, you see like the brutal war like in Vietnam, like what took place during that time. It was disgusting, but also just incredible to see like how realistic they really portrayed this movie about the Vietnam War. So I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, me as well. This movie is phenomenal. Also, probably my favorite war movie of all time. I watched it when I was probably like 14.
That's
So I didn't
crazy.
like fully get it. And I like but didn't remember a lot of it. So rewatching this is something I really wanted to do. There's some things. It was shot beautifully. The explosion scenes, the iconic Brando scene of like him putting his face over or his hand over his face. The camera, okay, whenever Martin Sheen's character gets taken as prisoner, like in Brando's camp, and the camera does like a full like 360 upside down view with him. I thought that was special. And also like I love how it makes you feel like you are descending into madness the farther you go into the jungle, which is like a big thing in this movie. I thought that was done perfectly. And I'm pretty sure it's Kilgore. All Colonel Kilgore wants to do is surf, and that is like the funniest thing in the whole movie. Like that's all. Like there's literally like explosions going on around him, and he's like Lieutenant, get out there now. Like go get my board. And obviously iconic. He's like, you smell that, son? You smell that? That's napalm. Like all
Great.
iconic things. I absolutely love this movie. Absolutely worth the rent. Absolutely worth the 150, 60-minute runtime that it does. So
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. I think in terms of just like a pure war movie, this is probably my favorite one as well. I mean, we'll get to Pan's Labyrinth, which is like war adjacent, which is would I guess be then my favorite. But Apocalypse Now, just like pure war movie, absolutely love it. It's pretty much considered like the quintessential war film. I actually had a fun fact to bring to the table as well, Chase. I don't know if this is the one that maybe you forgot, but Martin Sheen originally wasn't supposed to be Willard. It was supposed to be Harvey Keitel,
Hmm.
and Francis Ford Coppola like changed it because he felt like Harvey Keitel was like almost too much of an actor, I guess, and he needed a guy to who could kind of just be like more stoic and show just like that he's more of an observer like through this and taking us along with him, which is really cool. And I think that obviously worked perfectly. As Jagger mentioned, it really feels like you're like heading into this battle and this absolute darkness. You guys mentioned the napalm also right before that. There's that big like raid on that village, which is also just insane. And they're just dropping
Brutal.
bombs in the water. The water's exploding up. They're just destroying like bridges, just
Yeah,
all incredible. All the helicopters flying into the sun, just all those shots, like the practical stuff was really, really special. Sorry, Christian, you went.
I was gonna say, yeah, as they're in the helicopter, the guy is just drinking coffee so casual and just dropping bombs in the village. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, it's
let me interject. Sure,
sure.
you said in a recent review something about like you hate like too much inner dialogue in a movie.
Okay.
There was
I,
so much inner dialogue though.
I was gonna talk about that too. So I hate a lot of like inner monologue if they're just like it's in the middle of a scene like in Thin Red Line. That was kind of the thing that held back Thin Red Line for me. It was like they'll be in the middle of a scene, like in the middle of a battle, and they'll just start talking to themselves in their head. I think Apocalypse Now worked perfectly because first of all, I didn't think it was like too excessive, but also they only really
Mm.
used it as like a way for him to talk to us as the audience rather than talking to himself in his head. And it was like between scenes of when they're like traveling on the water, just kind of taking us through what he's learning about Kurtz. And I thought that that really helped the pacing of it, and it just helped us kind of transition from point A to point B. So I think that the way that it
Yeah,
was,
I really enjoy that.
yeah,
I
so
enjoyed that. It like helped us like bridge, and I love how he started understanding him, like why he did this, what happens, like all that. And I thought that really helped with the inner monologues.
yeah. And then I just love, I think war movies are such an interesting way of like showing morality and like taking a or talking about like human morality and how men can change in the face of this evil. And especially all kind of comes to a head, I think, in that one scene where there's Vietnamese people on the boat and they're checking to see if anyone's hidden in there, and the girl goes to save whatever they don't know what it is, and they just start shooting him. They shoot all the people on the boat, and they find out it's just a dog. And they're like, "Oh, she's still alive. Let's save her." And then Willard is just kills her, and he's like, "No, let's keep going." And it's just kind
Insane.
of like just turn the corner. Um, yeah, it's just a dark, dark movie. Also, just want to mention the scene where they meet the French people, and that was kind of a great interaction, I think, where the French guy says like, "You're just fighting the most nothing war," really stating clearly right there, this is like very anti-war, anti-Vietnam War, which was good. I think it was good to just at least take a stand on it, show that he's coming from a meaningful place. And I'll just finish with, did you guys also see Francis Ford Coppola's? He had a cameo in it, a cameo.
I did not.
Um,
What team is he in?
when he first arrives, or when they first arrive to like Kilgore's area on the shore, and there's those like journalists or filmmakers that are there, and they're like, just keep going, make it look natural, make it look natural, like, just keep going. Like that was
Oh,
Francis Ford Coppola
Mm.
just
that's
going there,
cool.
which I thought was a really cool little
That's
note.
cool.
All right, let me speak my thoughts now, since all the Apocalypse Now glazers are going. I give it a 4. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I won't say it's a bad movie. It's a very good movie. All the action shots were really cool. I liked, like all the explosions obviously were like sick. Favorite war movie ever? Absolutely not.
Agreed.
Like absolutely not. I thought it was. I mean, obviously, it was very, very long. I thought it didn't like drag, but there's just like I feel like there's like an hour where they're just on the boat like going and just like, okay, dude, like what am I watching? I couldn't get like fully into it. Um, I don't know. Like I thought it was great, but at the same time, like I didn't. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense, but like I didn't like just absolutely love it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like an explanation for it. It was just, I think it's just like not really my kind, like you say Jordan movies. Like obviously I like good movies like that aren't fucking Draft Day, but I just didn't like love it. Like obviously it's like an iconic movie, so like Christian's gonna give it a 5 star, obviously. But like yeah, I don't know. It wasn't great. It
I,
was
I, I I do want to mention when I say Jordan movie, Jordan likes good movies, but like there is a label on a Jordan movie. Like
yeah,
if you show me like like
Tag.
Draft Day is a great example. Like I think that's a
Rounders.
Draft Day
perfect
is a
way
good
to put it.
example. Rounders is all time.
Rounders,
21.
yeah.
Rounders is
Rounders is
class.
great.
Jordan, you like 21?
21, that's a Jordan movie.
21's
The
amazing.
but I agree with you, Jordan. I think I thought it was great. I thought it was, I think I kind of disagree with Schnur with about like the inner dialogue. Like I struggled with
Yeah.
the inner dialogue
Guy was talking to
personally.
himself the whole movie.
Yeah, that I struggled with, and I know he said he doesn't like that in like the majority of movies. And forgive me if I'm twisting your words, Schnur, but um I personally struggled with that aspect of it, and I think that it would have been a better viewing experience for me if that wasn't a part of the movie.
Yeah, you weren't twisting my words. I agree. Like I said, I tend to not like that if they're just like in the middle of, I don't know, a scene and it stops and they're just like, oh, like what do I do here? Like, it's like
Yeah.
it's just like I just don't like that. But yeah, like I said, like I think maybe it was Martin Sheen's delivery I thought was also good, but just yeah, I think it helped transition to the pacing. But I definitely don't blame you for not liking that because yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
was a struggle for me too a lot of the time.
One more thing I have a gripe with. Not just this movie, every movies. If I start a movie and look, okay, Good Will Hunting does it. That's that movie's great. It's an exception. If I start a movie and there's a fucking 5 minute intro of just bullshit, it drives me crazy. Like, just start the movie. Like, oh my God.
Are you talking
me
about
started.
like the credits?
Yeah, like, okay, I
Yeah.
get the credits, but sometimes it's like not even credits. It like just rolls on like random
Yeah.
like
Like
stuff.
B-roll? Like
Yeah.
B-roll? Yeah.
I'm like, just fucking start the movie.
yeah.
Like you're
Pisses
talking about
me
when he's
off.
like in the room and he was like freaking out.
Yeah, and like I get to like show that he's like freaking out. Like I said, like not necessarily just this movie, just in general with movies. I can't stand when the movie starts and then it's like 5 minutes before like it actually starts. I just
Can
go
we
on my
talk
phone.
about-
You got places to be.
I just go, yeah,
places
I
to
got
be.
things to do. I just go on my phone during it. I'm not reading the fucking credits.
I think we needed that part about like him, like especially the helicopters flying over, all the explosions. Awesome. It shows you like what you're about to get. And then him talking about like, oh, like I'm going insane. Like I can't be home. Like I need to be in the jungle. Like all that part. I think you absolutely need that.
I mean, like, yeah, like I said, like this movie. I'm just saying in general. Like, it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
just
that's
this
fair.
movie. I'm just saying in general movies, where it's like, yeah, even Good Will Hunting. Like, we're looking at fucking, I don't even know, like books, like kind of distort, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like start the movie. I don't need to look at books for
They do it in they're
5
doing
minutes.
Interstellar too.
Yeah, I know.
Should've-
I mean, I still like these movies, but it's just like I'm just gonna fast forward it or go on my phone. Like
Speaking-
I'm not watching this.
Speaking of
So-
the that scene of him like freaking out in the beginning, like that is also a fun fact that I saw where I think he punches the mirror, right? And his hand starts gushing blood. Like that
Yeah.
was real. And
Oh,
that
wow.
reminded me of the like DiCaprio from Django, which I thought was cool. But can we talk about the Harrison Ford cameo? Like that was so unexpected.
Yeah.
I was like, look at this.
Yeah.
Netflix
It was good.
had him whenever they had it, like a year or two ago. They had Harrison Ford on the
They
cover
always
of
do that
Apocalypse Now.
shit.
Like whenever you would scroll
Really?
through,
Yeah.
they're clickbaiting everyone.
They do
Yeah,
that
it
with
was
like
insane. But like,
Pete
but also
Davidson
talking
all the
about that,
time.
He had like what 4 minutes of screen
wasn't-
time?
Yeah.
if that. He was barely in
Yeah.
this, but I texted you guys a couple of days ago about Harrison Ford's like run. Star Wars, Apocalypse Now, kind of. Empire, Blade Runner, Indiana
And
Jones,
Jones.
and then
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
Insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
You're
Insane.
missing
And
actually,
now
I don't
he's
know.
in Captain America: Brave New World.
Well, he's
Yeah.
also in a lot of great movies in the 90s too. Like
Yeah.
he's in
Fugitive.
The Fugitive, thank you. Yeah, The Fugitive's
I'm
great
just
if
saying
you guys haven't seen
there's
it.
about 10 years where it's like insane. I feel like it's not talked about enough.
No, yeah, 100%.
Even right
100%.
before Star Wars, he was in American Graffiti, which is George Lucas directed. That was like his first movie, I think. Which I started watching it once, and I like was just too tired, and I fell asleep, and then it was off Netflix the next day.
Classic.
But it's like a coming of age like movie. I think about about like kids going from like high school to college, and that was I think his first movie, which is supposed to be really good.
Jordan, I have a question for you. So
Yeah, here we
there's
go.
this there's this one scene as they're going down the river, and I believe it's what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne. I think it was his
Lawrence
death.
Fishburne.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's listening to the tape of his mother saying like, "Oh, please get home safely, avoid all the bullets, this and that." And
I
then
watched it.
literally right after that, he gets shot, and as he's dying and bleeding out, like you could hear his mom like speaking
Yeah.
to him as he's dying. You had to have felt emotional watching that scene.
Yeah,
Like
that was a good
yeah,
scene.
like
I didn't say I gave it a 4 stars on Letterboxd. I'm not saying it was horrible.
I just feel like those gaps of like that scene, like I know that's like not like that's like right after the action. You said like you didn't enjoy them going down the river, I guess, because it was slow for you, but like things
For
like that I
most of it.
absolutely love.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that was like not. I
The
guess like one
tiger
of
scene.
a main character dying.
Tiger
It's a
Like
fucking tiger. Get me back on the boat. It's like,
Dude,
That guy was sick too. The guy with the, I forget
He
his
was
name.
good.
The guy with the mustache was
I had
awesome.
no idea that was Lawrence Fishburne until you guys mentioned it.
Yeah.
Literally no clue.
To
Yeah,
like
me neither.
the tooth gap, and I'm like, oh, that's him.
Also-
Also the last scene when they're going back and forth between the sacrifice with the animal and then him actually killing Colonel, what's his name, Kurtz.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
It was insane. It's like they're showing like they're trying to like replace, like they're sacrificing and replacing him, but like the violence, like the cycle of violence is just like never gonna end in this sort of war in this sort of place that's going on, which was I think a really sick parallel.
I also loved how they just never showed like they never really fully showed Kurtz's face. Like he was constantly hidden by shadows and like some light would cover part of his face and then he would like move over and even when you finally see him like right in front of you, he has the camouflage on him and then he drops the head off in his lap. Just like a really cool way to use lighting and the makeup to kind of I guess show that he's become less than human in a way.
And I know Chase was saying he came in overweight, but I actually thought that almost added to his like mysteriousness, his like he was like kind of like a scary character. Like he lost all his humanity. He was kind of just like an animal at that point. It was so sick.
A lot of
Yeah.
people said that he just shoot in this movie and was just there for the paycheck, like eating that. Whenever I was reading up on it, I don't think so. I think he was great. Even if he was just shooting it in, he was still good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Credit to
Jagger.
Brando.
That just refreshed my memory. The last fun fact that I had was similar to what you just said. Apparently, he didn't know any of his lines, and like a lot of his lines,
Yeah.
a lot of his lines were like totally improvised.
Well,
Like,
that's
totally
insane because
on a
his
whim.
dialogue is incredible at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, and I know that like the production process was apparently like hell. Like it was just a nightmare of a production, from what I was reading online.
I guess when you're
Right.
that great of an actor, you could do something like that.
Ready to move on to probably the most controversial movie of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
Christian's
gonna do
dumbass.
1917. This sparked like we probably texted about this for like an hour in the group chat. Just like everyone's like coming at Christian's head.
Yeah,
Because he's a
But
hypocrite.
start us off.
a little bit. I will say to your credit, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because this was my pick, and last week I did say I really enjoyed this movie on first watch, but non-spoiler plot. At the height of the First World War, two young British soldiers must cross enemy territory and deliver a message that will stop a deadly attack and save about 1,600 soldiers along with one of the guys' brothers. So that's kind of why they sent him out on the mission. And I think for me, at least when I watch a war film that's supposed to focus on like the realism of war, I'm not gonna get too much into it yet, but I think it kind of dropped the ball with that. So we're gonna get into it, and I guess we'll hand it over to Jordan to start.
I actually want to hear you go first. Let me hear your gripes with it. Because realism of war. Were you in World War One? What the hell are you talking about, dude?
Okay, so I have a bunch of notes that I'm gonna read off to you guys.
Just list
So,
them.
well,
Here we
Yeah.
go.
yeah,
Here we go.
okay,
Just
so
list them.
just
And
to
no one
start,
interject until he finishes. Just list all of them.
okay, fair. So just to start, I thought the dialogue was very basic between Blake and Schofield. I thought there was no emotional attachment to those two characters at all. It didn't address the true horrors of war to begin with, so you don't feel any emotional attachment to those guys. I hate that the movie was not very realistic for a World War One movie. For example, there were so many explosions near the protagonist. So there's one scene where a rat triggers a trip mine literally on top of the two soldiers, and they come out completely unscathed, unhurt, completely fine.
It's not
That
true.
That's
that
yeah,
is
that's a lie.
that's how is that a lie? What injury did they sustain except for a little
They
bit of a
didn't have
loss of hearing for
anything.
like 30 seconds? Thank you, Jagger.
They were like
Thanks for backing me up
hobbling out. It's not like they just walked out like
They
fine.
hobbled out.
for
No,
30
no, they were
seconds.
fine. You 3
It's a
minutes after
movie.
that
What do you want them
scene,
to do? Die? And then she goes black?
rainbows and butterfly. No, no, no.
I hear
I'm
you,
not
but
holding. I don't hold it against it, but I do say like I agree with Christian in some sort of
thank
ways
you.
like that. They were fine. That fucking thing blew up right in front of them, and they were
Thank you.
fine.
When it comes to a war film, I think a serious war film, not like a Pan's Labyrinth where it has like a fantasy aspect to it. I want to see something that's very realistic and true to the war that took place. Another thing was there was the German plane that crashed literally right on top of them, completely unscathed again. The German comes out of the plane, and of course they're fighting against the Germans, so there's no way they're just gonna go out and like take this German soldier out of the fire of the plane, bring him water, turn their back to them, make sure he has no weapons on him, and just allow one of their soldiers to just die. Which also, by the way, after Blake immediately starts talking about his family, 3 minutes later he dies. So it's like, okay, I don't really care about that. And I think that was supposed to be like a turning point in the movie, which it just wasn't for me. Um, Another thing was after Blake died, Schofield was continuing on with his mission to deliver this message, and he's in an area filled with all German soldiers, and there's literally 5 German soldiers chasing him. Five might be an exaggeration. Maybe it was like 3 that he runs into, but literally right on top of him, running parallel with him, and they're just missing bullets right in front of him as he's running. Impossible. It's not going to happen. It's unrealistic. To me, it's stupid. And then the way he escapes is he randomly finds a stream of water into a river, and he falls down a massive waterfall, doesn't drown, no injuries, gets out. He's completely fine. He's down for the count for about 20 seconds, gets up perfectly fine. And then right outside of the waterfall, he stumbles across like the 1,600 soldiers that he needs to find. So the whole time it's like he's trying to find his way to this group. I think they were called the Devons. And somehow he falls off of this waterfall right into their laps. And then he and then he runs across the first line of the of the battlefield literally before everybody else starts running, and there's artillery and bombs going off, and he's running across the field for a good 10 seconds, again completely unscathed, unshot, no bodily harm to him. He's fine. Look, I think it was an enjoyable, entertaining movie at its core, but I think it was like very Hollywood and was like more of an action thriller than a war, like a true war film for me. So that's my gripes with the
That's
movie.
half
That's
of those
pretty
are
good.
wrong. Half of
So
those
I
are
agree
wrong.
with
want you
half.
to,
I agree with half. I disagree with half.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
agree.
bring
I
it to
So
think
the
let's
I
go
think
with
it goes
let's go
both
over.
ways, but it is a movie. Like it is a movie. This shit's gonna happen. Characters are gonna have um that body armor, main protagonist body armor. It's gonna happen. I understand some of the scenes. You shouldn't have had someone chasing off at him, just hip firing and just missing.
Yeah, it's poor.
Put him fucking 30 feet away and then
Exactly.
firing him. That's fine. I think overall that this movie is like insanely impressive. All like you do feel connected to him, because it's all these people, like all is just one shot. You're with him for 2 hours. I think that's very special, and that's why I gave it like a like an up in the score. But I overall didn't love this movie. I know that you guys did, and
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
it was
I just
fucking
I
great.
feel like you see a lot of horrors with this movie, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, the plane scene is probably my favorite scene in the whole entire movie. Like, yeah, they see it coming at them, and it's, a movie. They're like, oh, the plane's coming towards us, and they start running backwards. Didn't land on top of them, dude. Like, that's not what happened,
It
first of
hit the
all. It
barn.
hit the barn. It stopped. They got out of the way like normal humans. Not like that could happen in real life. And then you're saying that Blake just like died for no reason, and he's like, oh, like he, the whole movie they were showing how he like wasn't meant for war, and like that's why he took him out. Schofield was like trying to like, like not get him to help him. He helps him, he dies. And also you're saying they didn't mention anything about his family until like 2 seconds before he died. He was talking about his brother the whole time. He's just like, my brother's there, we need to get there. Like that's the whole reason why he's like so dead set on going.
So what happens is they're walking in like the woods, and then they start
Okay.
talking about his family for the first time. And then right when they leave the woods, there's this barn. The plane comes crashing. He dies 3 minutes later. After the plane crashes and he dies, all of a sudden, 100 British soldiers show up. Where were they when the plane crashed? Why didn't they rush over to the scene when the plane crashed? They
Christian,
randomly just stumble upon them. I
no, no,
think
no,
it's
no, no, no.
listen, I think the movie is entertaining. I just think it's a very unrealistic view of a World War One film. If you think about like a Saving Private Ryan, there's one scene where it's like a one-on-one like knife hand combat scene, and you could just see like the brutalities of war. It's like, okay, it's me versus him. It's a 1v1. Like, I'm not gonna let this guy kill me. I'm not gonna give this guy any like upper hand or advantage. I'm gonna kill this guy, and that shows like the gruesomeness of a war. This just doesn't give me that.
They
It doesn't give me anything from a war film that I haven't seen in the past.
they have that in 1917. They have a scene where he goes into like that house and he is like going up close with someone and fighting them like hand to hand and he stabs them and kills them and like lays on top of them in the dark.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just
And
I'm pointing out the one scene with the pilot. Like, there's no way that they're gonna let that pilot come out, live, help
hang
them.
on, hang
That
on,
was
hang on,
part
hang
of the
on, hang on, hang
movie.
on,
That's
hang on,
not
hang on,
war,
hang on, hang
though.
on, hang on, hang on. Two things. First, to address your point about the British Army, they said they noticed the smoke in the sky. I think you're also forgetting how close quarters that these troops and military are in proximity of each other during this time period. So that like they're all in proximity to each other. Of course, if they see smoke in the sky, they're gonna go running towards the smoke. Doesn't that make sense?
No, he wants them to
Right,
take like a F1 race car and get there in like 30 seconds.
literally right after he dies, all of a sudden there's 100 British soldiers right behind the barn and a car. The other thing I want to point out is with the trip mine and the plane, you don't think that there's going to be any shrapnel or any other pieces of the plane hitting these British soldiers, Schofield and Blake. Like, it's impossible. It's unrealistic. It's just not going to happen.
I forgot you were a fucking World War
Also,
scientist now.
also,
But the
and
point of a true war film, I think, is to show the realistic aspects and the brutalities of war. And I think this movie dropped the ball in that aspect.
well,
Dude,
I think to what
you go.
Jordan said, I think to what Jordan said in terms of like the realism of someone being in the war that doesn't belong in the war. Like that's what the whole point of Blake was, like why he was there.
Yeah.
I think that like Blake, you know, his perspective of like I said to you guys in the group chat, like his fatal flaw was like the goodness of his heart, the kindness of his heart. Like he was trying to help this German soldier. He tells Schofield to go get what was it, water? Tells Schofield to go get water for him, and that was his fatal flaw. That's how he was killed, and that's how Schofield kind of changed and went through that journey because he realized that it's important to have the goodness in your heart, especially during trying times.
That's not war,
Christian's
though.
Christian's also talking about fucking the realism of war. In Apocalypse Now, they're doing surf tricks in the ocean while napalms are going down. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but right before that, there's this one scene of a Vietnamese woman who could have easily just ran away and survived like the whole strike because they were just like letting her like kind of like be there. Instead, she like walks up with a grenade and blows up the entire plane. Like, it shows another aspect of like that's what's gonna
It's the
happen
same thing
in
that happened with the
war.
German. He killed him. What are we talking about?
But
So
then
let's hear from
right after that
Schnur. Let's
happened, then
get
they rain
Schnur's,
fire down.
Schnur's
Like,
opinion.
I don't
I
have much
want to
like
hear what he has to
that.
say.
I don't know. It's like overall thoughts on the movie. I mean, I really like this movie a lot. Um, I think if there's a gripe, like I think the horrors of war. I don't know what you're talking about because you're saying that the rat or whatever was like a bad scene and this and that. Like I think
terrible.
that is like what that shows is how disgusting and horrible these conditions were, and that's why that happens. And then you're like, oh well, shrapnel would have hit him. Like yeah, like an entire load of rocks fell on his head. Like, what do you mean? Like, something did hit him. And then
Yeah, but he came
I
out completely healthy. I'll let you go. But he came
okay,
out
no,
completely
that's
healthy.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair that they came out completely fine. I think that's totally fair. Um, I think, I mean, not to, I guess, just to step away from just the going back and forth. I think my only like real gripe, the thing that knocked it down from for me that made it like a 4 star rather than something higher, is that I think the concept is sick. I think it's like like obviously unique for a war film. I just think that at times the concept became a little bit bigger than the movie itself, to where I was watching it and kind of was like looking at like, oh, there's a cut here, there's a cut here, there's a cut here, rather than just like fully investing myself in the story. And that could be just me, but like I just felt like at times I was more like aware of the concept rather than invested in the story. I will disagree with you on Schofield a little bit because you're saying how like you just didn't really care about him. I remembered like not really caring about the main characters. I think George McKay is a great actor though. I think he was really good in it, and he made me care for that character.
Is that Blake or
Also,
Schofield?
sorry,
You said Jordan McKay. Was that Blake or Schofield?
that was Schofield.
Okay.
I think he's really great, and I also don't know. I mean, I don't know how you can criticize the scene where he's running across like in the warfield, everyone's charging and he's running sideways. I feel like that's like a like already an iconic like all-time scene that I feel like is going to be like mimicked and shown for years in the same way that like I mean the plane scene from North by Northwest is literally shown in this too. If you ever see that scene the in North by Northwest when the plane comes flying over his head, that's like recreated all the time. It's in this movie with that plane scene you were talking about. I mean there's plenty of like iconic scenes like that. I think that one's really up there with him when he's running across that warfield. So I
Yeah.
don't know about the criticism on
So
that, but I think
okay, so what I will say is I have this movie at a 3.5 because I do think it's entertaining. Like that scene where he is running across the front lines. Yes, it's a cool scene. I personally believe a war film should be a very realistic representation of the war. And there's no way a guy is going to be running across the battlefield when we hear the whole movie that they're set up and ready for their attack. They're just going to be able to dominate them right when they attack as they're waiting on it. And this guy is just running across the field and gets completely unharmed. It doesn't make sense to me. I think it's like a contradiction in the movie almost because they should have been waiting for that. What were they like? What was their plan? Like, if you're waiting on them to attack, like you probably would have set up like a minefield, like we see in like obviously D-Day with Saving Private Ryan at the beginning of that film. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's a valid point that you make, but I think it's like it's just a little too nitpicky because like you can pick something like that out of any
Every
movie you've
movie.
ever seen.
For sure, I just think it's a consistent theme throughout the movie. There's so many scenes where it's like, okay, this just isn't realistic. Like, there's no way this is what's going on during the war. Like, you're not gonna come out healthy, like when there's a bomb going off right on top of you.
well, how
I don't
did
know.
you feel about a scene? There's a scene where I think it's when he arrives to like that camp at the end, and he's going through like the medical tent, and there's all people just like their legs are blown off, and they're all screaming, and like all the
Yeah,
doctors helping them.
that was cool. That was good. I like that. Like when they're behind, like I guess you call it like a bunker. They're like behind it, and like there's bombs going off as he's running to get to the captain, played by Benedict Cumberbatch or whatever.
Mm,
Yeah, I thought that was a cool scene. Like that is what I would have liked to see throughout the film.
yeah, I think it's fair. I also I do think they're kind of like what I was saying with Apocalypse Now, or I guess how Francis Ford Coppola intended for Brother to be more of like an observer. I think that was kind of why. I mean, like, yeah, he's like avoiding all this stuff. It's crazy, but yeah, we're trying to like get from point A to point B, and it's just showing you all the horrible situations that soldiers go through on a daily basis with just like one guy.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think it's fair. I think they're definitely like you mentioned that waterfall scene was just kind of like there's times where like things looked a little wonky. I think in the cuts as well. Um, but yeah, I think overall, like the saying that it didn't show the horrors of war, I think is
I think there's
interesting just because I
yeah,
feel
I
like it
think
really
there's better
does.
representations of it. I'm gonna
Okay.
swing it to Jagger because I don't think he's talked about the movie yet, but I do want to briefly mention that like obviously the famous thing about this movie is the way it's shot, how it's supposed to be like all in one cut or like one take. It's a very cool way to shoot it, but I don't think it added to the movie that much for me because, like you were saying, they're trying to get from point A to point B, and you're thinking like it's a very long distance. But with the way that they're filming it, how do you get from point A to point B in that short amount of time? That also doesn't really make too much sense to me. I don't know if you guys agree with that. I kind of want to hear what you guys think about like the shooting of the movie.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, go ahead, Jagger.
Overall, like I did think it was entertaining. People listening to this right now probably are like like me and Christian have the same like grade on this. I also gave it a 3.5, same as him. Just like, but I agree with both sides of points here. I did have fun with the movie. I think it's insanely impressive what they did. Um, I do disagree with the family thing because immediately, like we all like this is a guy who Blake is just not cut out for war. But the first moment that like he could save his brother, he's going. Like he doesn't care if like the people are there in the front lines, he's going no matter what. He didn't talk about his mother and his family back home until about 2 minutes before that scene, and then just gives him the letter, which I think is a little bit tossed it in there. They should have introduced that earlier. But and the last thing is whenever he's running across the battlefield, dude, they're running with like real like bayonets. And Schofield's getting like ran into. Could they not have like accidentally like stabbed him like while filming
Thank you.
this? Like, what if they ran
Like,
in? No, like I'm not
Oh,
saying like
stab
while
him
realistic.
filming.
I'm saying
Yeah.
like for this guy's health. For this guy's
I would
health,
imagine
like,
they were probably
they
like
could have like accidentally
plastic
stabbed him.
or rubber. I know they use
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
rubber.
I don't think
Absolutely
they were
could have been
real.
for his. I'm just saying, like I was like that. Just like I
That's
was like, this guy
hilarious.
could die right now. But
Yeah.
I also think in the end with Richard Madden, his brother, I think that was a little anticlimactic. You just show him like tears, like crying up a little bit. I wish it would have got a little bit something more, but
Uh,
also Schofield walks away right after that. He doesn't really have many attachment to him. And like our story isn't about Richard Madden and his brother. Like it's just saving every other person's lives. I like it opening with Schofield's eyes closed, opening, and then closing with Schofield's eyes closing in the end by the tree. But I had a good time with it. I just didn't love it.
Was that tree CGI, by the way? I feel like that like I
The
feel like it
one in
looked
the
a little
end.
weird, but
I
I don't
have
know.
no
I could be
idea.
wrong.
Did you have more to say about the tree, Schneer? Sorry, I
No,
didn't
I
mean
was just
to.
asking because like I honestly don't like I couldn't
Oh,
tell.
I
Like, I
don't
thought it looked a
know.
little bit odd, but I
I
don't
didn't
know.
notice anything personally.
Um,
Um, I did want to talk about the waterfall scene, and then I guess if you guys want, we can move on to the next movie. But I did want to mention this without moving forward. In the beginning of the movie, during their journey, they talk about the trees and the trees back home, and I think they were cherry blossom trees they talked about. Um, and obviously, or Blake, dies tragically, and then the whole everything ensues, and then he, gets to that point where he's in the waterfall, in the water, and you see those cherry blossom, flowers in the water with him. And the way that I interpreted it was that almost like it was like his guardian angel of war, and that Blake was still even though Blake was gone, like he was still with him, guiding him through the journey to get and to finish the mission. And that's I know you guys had a gripe with the waterfall scene, but I personally loved the waterfall scene because that was just I don't know if that was intended. I don't even know for sure if they were cherry blossom leaves. I assume they were. But I loved that. I thought that was a beautiful message for the movie. Um, and that's just, my point and why I disagree about the waterfall scene.
Yeah.
shout out Roger
Sure.
Deakins too. This movie
What's
looks
that?
great. I said shout out Roger Deakins too as my last thing. Just this movie looks incredible. He won the
Yeah.
Oscar for it for good reason.
Nice. Yeah, I'll give my
Alright.
last. I
Sorry.
gave it a 4.5. I mean, you guys heard what I had to say, so I don't really have to say much more.
I
A
think I
lot of
gave it.
general discourse here, but we're all relatively close. We're all between a 3.5 and a 4.5, but it wouldn't seem like it. This is the movie we disagreed the most off of, and we're
Yeah.
all pretty close. So let's just go around, give our ratings. I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 4. I think that's
I
it.
have a 3.5, and I do want to say I think the beauty of this movie is really just in the uniqueness in the way that it was shot, and I think that's why the movie took off, and less about the actual story, and that's what I believe.
I gave it a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed the stylistically of how it was supposed to be one cut. I was mentioned to Jacob a couple of days ago that I loved how I genuinely felt like I was on the journey because there were no cuts. Like I felt like I was there, which I always love when I'm watching a movie. So I gave it a 4.5.
Jordan?
And
I gave it a
Jordan
4.5.
gave
I said it
four and a
before.
half
Oh,
as
you did.
well.
All right. my
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
You would think that this was Jordan's favorite movie of all time and Christian's least favorite movie of all
No,
time.
because Christian just drives me crazy with his takes. Like he's so wishy-washy and loves to throw out hot takes on movies that aren't like 1970 to 1990 like all-time classic.
But before we end this movie segment, would you guys agree that my takes are at least fair? If I'm looking at it from that lens, it's fair to
Two
say
of
what
them.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
I
think they're
think
I think
I
it's
fair.
think from
fair.
the lens of wanting of just your personal preference of wanting a more historically accurate and like realistic the horrors of war, yes, but I think you're also being a little too nitpicky.
Fair.
I think there's a balance of both.
No, it's fair.
All right. And moving on, I forgot real quick. We want to give our ratings of Apocalypse Now. Just so we move on. I gave it a 5 out of
Oh,
5.
I
It's a
give it a 5
5.
as well.
I went 4.5.
I gave it a 4.
All right. Next we have Pan's Labyrinth. I'm going to throw that to Jacob.
Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth, one of my favorite movies ever. I just backstory, I mentioned it last week, but watched it for the first time in Spanish, but like wasn't really paying attention in a high school class. And then watched it again a couple months ago, last year, and it just blew me away. Really incredible, I thought. Uh, Excited to watch it again. Excited to choose it for this and get you guys to watch it. So a little bit of a synopsis. It's about this girl Ophelia and her mom, and they go to live with her new stepdad, who is this captain of the Spanish army, I believe. And they're kind of living with him in the midst of the war. There's like the other armies outside their walls, and they're in the heat of battle. And Ophelia, while she's there, discovers this fantasy like world that's in the proximity of this house that she's living in, and I think it's just absolutely beautiful. Without getting into spoilers just yet, um, I just think that all the practical effects. I know Jagger, you mentioned in your letterbox review as well. The practical effects are just unbelievable. The way that the fawn looks, the pale man, the like all of it is just incredible. And Doug Jones, also shout out to him because he is that the actor that plays both those characters, and he's kind of like the Andy Serkis of practical effects, where he's always like he's in a lot of Del Toro movies, um, doing a lot of those type of characters, and the way that he just moves his body and acts that way without really having to speak, even though he does as the fawn, obviously, but doesn't really have to speak to portray these characters in an authentic way to make it believable. And I just loved the balance of this fantasy world with the war as kind of an escape for Ophelia. And again, we'll get into more spoilers later, but yeah, one of my all-time favorites. Like if I could give it 6 stars, I would.
So obviously, like Shneur mentioned, the practical effects were out of this world. El Fano was awesome. He was my standout.
Jagger.
I wanted him more. But overall, I didn't love this movie. I liked a lot. Acting was phenomenal around the horn, but I don't know why. I don't know what it was, but I didn't care what happened to a single character in this. Like they were just like spoilers, like the mom was dying when Ophelia died at the end. I'm like, all right, cool, let's just wrap this up. I just did not like feel like, oh, I think the captain was an absolute force when he was on the screen. Um, like I was
High
like
five to
horrified
them.
by him, and he had like the Joker thing at the
Yeah.
end. He was really good, but I just didn't really care. We also got for like 2 minutes. That was the only tense part I felt in the whole movie is whenever she was running away from him trying to crawl out. I didn't feel tense for a single part other than this movie. I thought it's a nice story. I like where she went with her head and with her mind and all this. But besides that, there wasn't else much that I loved.
You didn't feel tense. Sorry to interrupt whoever's gonna go next. You didn't feel tense when he was interrogating the guys with the rabbits, and like, or
Yeah,
No.
when he was
that
with
I
the
was
thought
guy
it
that
was
was
I
up
thought it was
against
25
the
sick when
minutes.
he like
yeah.
I thought it was sick. Like that was cool. Like do that. Like I thought that was really what the captain was like. I was like, oh shit, like this guy's for real because it's the first time we see him
It's a dick.
like doing something, like being an absolute asshole. But like, I just didn't feel tense really, and I just wanted more of the googly man.
Or when
I didn't
the
like
I was gonna
that
say
guy.
also the stutterer. This when he like has the stutterer as a prisoner, and he
Yeah,
makes
when
him
he
like count to three
stutters.
and you could leave. It's so sick.
Yeah.
But all right, I'll let someone else go.
I think I'm going. Yeah. I watched this movie this morning, or I think I watched half of it last night. It was really good. I texted them because I hate watching like reading subtitles on watching movies, and for some reason I didn't pick up on that it was in Spanish when we were picking it. And so it starts in Spanish and I'm like, "Oh God." And then like the whole movie's in Spanish, like the first 5 minutes, I texted them. I was like, "What the fuck? You guys tricked me. I didn't know this was in Spanish." And then I was like, great, here we go. But I actually really locked in to it. It was actually very good. I liked it. Was surprised. I didn't think I was gonna like it. Um, but yeah, I think I gave it a 4.5. I think.
Four. I think
Um,
you give it a four. I saw.
did
Yeah,
I?
you gave
I
Okay,
think
let me
so.
change
Yeah.
it.
you
Let
gave
me
it a
change it
4
then. All right, I'll
to
change
a
it to a
four and a
four and a
half.
half. Yeah, yeah, thinking about it, I really enjoyed it. El Capitan, that guy's a prick. Hated him the whole movie. Um, yeah, I thought it was good. Like, I don't know. It was kind of unlike I feel like any other movie I've seen, just because it was like so like yeah, like practical like war, but then also it's like this is random alien looking dude in it. Um, and like I'm sure there's like a bunch of different portrayals of like what the story is and like what certain stuff means. I didn't really dive too deep into that, but just as like a movie, um, I thought it was great. I liked Mercedes in it. I thought she was great.
Mercedes.
Um,
Mercedes.
Mercedes, yeah.
Mercedes.
I really the point that I really like kind of locked into the movie was like what we were talking about with that rabbit scene. Like I was not expecting that. Like he just like shot them and then pulled out the rabbit and he's like, yeah, next time like search them better. It's like what the fuck? But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So I, along with Schnur and Jagger, had a similar experience. Watched it in high school. I remember really, excuse me, I remembered really enjoying it in high school, for our Spanish class. But I couldn't really lock in and focus on the movie itself because of just the atmosphere of watching a movie like that in high school. I'm sure you can imagine what type of viewing experience that was like. But um, this was my second time watching it in full, obviously, and I very much so liked it. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. Um, I did give it initially a 4.5, but after thinking about it a little more, I'm afraid to even say this in front of Jacob because I feel like I'm gonna disappoint him. But I did lower it to a 4, and that's
Sucks.
not to be like, oh, like I thought about it more and I didn't like it. It's not because of that. It's because I wasn't as locked in personally in the first half of the movie, and part of that might be attributed to watching this with, and Christian can back me up, watching it with my mom. That was not fun because literally anytime something came on the screen, like for example, the fairy that came on the screen when what was it, like a was it a
The like
praying
bug,
mantis,
Like the
like a praying
like a
mantis
yeah.
centipede
turned
or something.
into
Stink
Yeah.
bug.
this
Stink bug.
fairy with an ass? Like my mom was like, all right. My mom was like, well, what am I watching? So that wasn't fun, and it hurt me from getting locked in the first half. But um, in terms of like child performances, I feel like Ophelia, and like the actress who plays Ophelia, is very, very slept on. I feel like that's not really, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you don't really hear about that performance ever in terms of child performances.
It's also a Spanish movie, so it could just be like a culture thing. So like you
Yeah,
don't
I
really
guess
hear
it could
about
be a
it.
cultural thing, but um I mean, I have all the same points that you guys did. In terms of the captain and all that. And I agreed with you, Jagger, too. I didn't think about it until you mentioned it. And I was like, yeah, I kind of feel the same way in terms of like the tenseness. I didn't really get a lot of that. Didn't feel it in the rabbit scene, but I did start to feel tense when she was drawing the chalk on the ceiling trying to get out. I felt it there, and also just in the end, like in the labyrinth, like in the maze, when she was trying to escape the captain with her brother. Thought that was very emotional. Um, really enjoyed it. Very happy with how it came out.
Yeah. Before we hear Christian's awful takes, I have to go to the bathroom, so I don't want to hear him.
So I completely disagree. I disagree with how you guys say like the whole tenseness around her death at the end, but
Well, no,
this
no,
is
I felt the tenseness there.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you guys were
I
saying you felt the lack
did.
of that.
I
Jagger
felt
said
the
he didn't care
lack
about
of
it.
I
it. I felt the
didn't.
lack of it up until like when she was drawing the chalk. And like after that,
Okay.
I not that I really locked in, but like it started to feel a little more after that.
First, I just want to like say so Ophelia is obviously like a young child, so she's playing the innocent role in this film, and she's kind of just put in the middle of the battlefield on like the fascist side with the captain being her stepfather. And I I think it just goes to show like the duality between like realism and fantasy. Is she making it up in her head? Is this all actually happening? Is this world actually magic? Um, like when you're growing up, you have that like magic friend that you make up in your head. So like, is the fawn just in her head, or is this actually happening? And it could just show like this is kind of like her escape from the war, and that's kind of like how she kind of gets away like from all the brutality of everything that's going on with the way that her mom is being treated, the way that her mom is potentially about to miscarry her brother or even die along with the birth, which she ends up dying. And the brother survives, and then obviously she gets shot. Ophelia gets shot in the end, and the brother is passed off to what's the woman's name?
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Mercedes.
But hang on, but in Spain it's Mercedes.
Oh, okay.
Mercedes. Um,
Thank God.
but I just think like this is like a little girl. She's going through the tenseness of war. She's potentially making this all up in her mind to kind of escape it, and then at the end she's like brutally murdered by the captain, and then it's portrayed like she's like either like in heaven or in this like fantasy land. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. I also want to talk. So I, again, like I said, I watched this in Spanish. Didn't really remember how dark it was or realize how dark it was when I first watched it. And so that's kind of a big reason why it blew me away. And then again, same thing. Like you mentioned, like progressively things like that helped you lock in. I think obviously like the rabbit scene was kind of the first moment where I was like, holy shit, like this movie is like crazy. I didn't realize it was going to be like this. And then the moment again where I was really like, okay, this is like maybe one of the best movies I've ever seen is when the doctor, um, he goes to the guy, the stutterer who was beaten to a pulp, and he's like begging for his death, and he puts him out of his misery. And as he's talking to him, the captain finds the little antibiotics, the little medicine, and he like
Oh my God,
compares
how
them,
close.
and and he comes out, and he's like, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, there's nothing else I could do for him. Like I just had to do it." And then he walks away, and an incredible shot, this incredible framing and blocking of the captain right over the doctor's left shoulder as the doctor's walking away, and he pulls out the gun and shoots him in like the rain, and then you see his chest start to turn red on his shirt, and he takes off the glasses and kind of just like accepts it, and then it goes the wide shot of the side of showing him falling to his knees. Just unbelievable that scene. I
Yeah.
think just like absolutely incredible. Um, and I loved you mentioned Mercedes. I loved her whole story as well, which added on to just like a whole nother message of how she's kind of this, she wants to fight. She's fighting against this captain, her husband, and all of her friends are fighting against the captain. And she's on their side, but she's a coward and she's staying with him and she's too afraid to, go out and fight. But at the end, she kind of comes to it and she decides, you know what, like I'm sick of this. I'm just gonna stick up for myself. I'm gonna stick up for my husband and everyone and do the right thing. And I thought her arc was incredible. And then yeah, at the end again, Ophelia, I guess the movie opens up with her like lying there bleeding. And when I first watched it, I just like didn't put that together. And then at the end of the movie, she gets shot, and I was like, holy shit, they're killing the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I was like,
Brutal.
no way. Yeah, the captain
Uh,
is top tier villain for me.
I have a question for you guys. Do you guys think the fawn represents good, evil, or both?
Both.
I don't even know.
I think he's
I
good.
couldn't
But
tell.
I mean, it's probably more good because in the end, he is there, like congratulating. What?
Exactly.
She's hit a little
There,
tongue wag.
Oh, he's like, dude. If you see him, he's literally hyping up the crowd
yeah.
whenever he
So
goes around.
I feel like throughout the movie, he's making Ophelia do these really dangerous tasks, and then in the end, with Ophelia's like selflessness act of saving her brother and ultimately dying herself, and then he's like in that fantasy world like clapping. I think it does show that he is good, but throughout the movie, I'm not thinking that. So it was interesting. Like at the end, you kind of like change your opinion on him.
I mean, I think him coming back too kind of proved the goodness, right? Because didn't he come back like on a whim, if I'm not mistaken? Like he wasn't supposed to, but he just did, and like
Yeah,
he
because
gave her like a second chance.
he was like, "You're done." Like halfway through the
Yeah.
movie, and
Yeah,
then disappeared and came back.
I
yeah,
thought it was more
appreciate.
so he just wanted like a blood sacrifice for something for him. It could have been something else. He could have been like tricking her.
Yeah, I guess in the moment you don't know that, but I feel like after finishing the movie, you could
Mhm.
kind of see that looking back. I
He was
feel
like
like,
testing her.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
guess that makes sense. I guess good then.
you were saying he bailed on her. That was like after she ate the grape and found out that um, that she got the two fairies killed, which also again another just insane scene where he bites their heads off.
Yeah,
It's
eats
crazy.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and then obviously he just kind of shows up again once Ophelia's like about to escape, and then she gets thrown back into her room, and that's when he shows up again. Like, I don't know, how do you guys think? Do you guys think it was all real? You think it was just her imagination? I think regardless of like
I think it
what happens in the
was
movie,
fake.
it's obviously an allegory for like her imagination. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think,
fake
yeah,
because
I
he's not
think,
there in
yeah.
the end when the captain's like goes to shoot her. He's not there. I was low key expecting the captain to like come back, and when he turned around from shooting her, then like the fawn like
Would fuck
attacked
him
her or
up.
something.
Yeah, I thought the
Yeah,
fawn was
but
gonna fuck him up, but
just
now I
it just
kind of
didn't
think.
happen. So I
Well,
think
it's
it's
also
all
like-
fake.
well, also
Yeah,
maybe like
I
it's
agree.
real, and she's the only one that could see them because she's the princess or whatever. You can interpret it
So-
like
That's
that.
that's
Yeah.
how kind of I felt about it, and because of her belief, like you know how they always say, especially in the Polar Express, like seeing is believing. Like I feel like that kind
Exactly,
of
man.
applies there.
I think it was actually a magical world that,
Or
like you said,
sorry,
only she
I think
could
I said
see.
that wrong. I don't know. Sorry,
I-
Christian. I'm
I
just
think
thinking
it
out
was-
loud.
I think it was a magical world, and I think at the end there's the final scene of like the flower blossoming. I think like the dialogue was something along the lines of like, look for like the blossom flowers for like Ophelia to be around or something like that, which I think is supposed to prove that it is a magical world. And also, I read up that the director of the movie obviously leaves it up to interpretation, but he more so believes that there is magic in the world. So that's interesting.
Got our Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. All right, we
He's
want to
the-
give scores, or you still got something to say? Go ahead.
I was gonna say this movie is the reason that Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein coming out this year is like one of my most anticipated movies. I'm very
It's
excited for
fire.
that.
Jacob Elordi, right?
Excited for that.
Yeah, Jacob Elordi, Oscar Isaac, Christoph Waltz,
Wait, what movie? I
That's
was
a good
listening.
cast.
Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro
Oh,
is making
yeah, we'll see.
Frankenstein.
Toro's Frankenstein.
Yeah, we'll see.
I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 5.
4.5.
5.5.
3.5. And let's rank them. Just go the same order.
Chase.
Me
You
first.
want me to go first?
Go ahead, Schnur.
Alright. I'll see. I put from 3 to 1. I went 1917 in third, and then Apocalypse Now second, Pan's Labyrinth first.
It's hard for me because I feel like 1917 and Apocalypse Now are like the same tier for me. Can I do like a 1A, 1B type thing?
Nope. Nope.
No,
Can't do
Gotta
that.
rank
not
'em.
allowed.
Gotta rank them.
Can't do
If
that.
you're making a
Um,
letterbox list, which one are you putting above? the
I
other?
think
Wonder what Christian's gonna put last.
Yeah, I
I think
wonder.
like I think like 1917 had more of an impact on me, and I think I just enjoyed it stylistically more. So I guess I'll go 1917 1.
Wow.
Ooh,
That's
I don't know
insane.
actually. I don't know
Wow.
actually. Wait,
You
Yeah,
someone
said
else go. Let me think.
Take a second. We'll get back to him,
Thank
and
you.
I'll go.
Yeah, someone else go.
Yeah, let's hear
It's,
Christian's.
it's clear that Apocalypse Now is obviously the best of the three. Then
Not
it's
true.
Pan's Labyrinth, followed by 1917 in dead last.
I'm going Pans, 1917, Apocalypse Now.
I'm gonna go Apocalypse Now 1, Pans 2, 1917 3.
I think I'm actually gonna go Pans 1. I think I'm gonna go Pans 1. I think 4.5. I think I gotta change my rating back to a 4.5 after talking about it.
Pans is good.
Good.
Yeah. Pans 1. I'll go 1917 2 with Apocalypse Now 3, but it's very, very, very close.
Jordan, you have no idea how happy I was when I saw you liked Pans.
Pans is good.
I was
I
very
liked it.
nervous.
I was nervous too for all of you to watch it.
There was some good conversations this week. I literally liked what we picked and everything, this discourse. So now
Yeah.
let's move into a bracket. So I just picked 8 movies about 2 hours ago that we've all seen, and we're gonna do a list or a bracket. So I did not seed rank these. I just picked 2 movies that are great, and it's just going to cause a little bit of thing. I think we get a minute to talk about each, and by the end, majority picks and rules. That person moves to the next round. So round
this.
1, we're going to go Prisoners versus Goodfellas.
Holy shit.
I haven't seen Goodfellas.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
I just found that out
I
the other day,
literally-
too.
I looked through them. I'm like, oh, Chase has definitely seen Goodfellas. He just hasn't logged it on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
All right, well,
right,
Prisoners is
well-
better anyway, so it's fine.
All right,
It's all
so
right.
let's go
I
minute.
love Prisoners, so I'll just go Prisoners.
It's close.
Sorry.
Close. It is close.
Sure, give what do you think?
I'm gonna go Goodfellas. It's very close. I feel like I just
Yeah.
rearranged these two and put Prisoners below it, but
So 2-1
Goodfellas.
Prisoners.
Both great films. I'm going Goodfellas. The opening scene in Goodfellas might be the best Star 2 movie I've ever seen. I think it's probably the best mob movie ever.
No,
I'm going
that's not true.
Goodfellas.
So 2-2 to me. I'm gonna go Prisoners. I have it ranked higher.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
100%.
Goodfellas used to be one of my favorite movies of all time, but I think Prisoners is just a different class. I love Denis. So we're moving on to Prisoners over Goodfellas.
Sorry, guys.
Wait, where did the 3 votes coming from?
Top
Jordan-
row. Jagger
Jordan
v.
and,
Chase.
Chase, you went. Oh, whoa.
I know. I feel bad because I haven't seen it. I feel like
It's
I shouldn't
rough.
count.
Doesn't
I
matter.
think
That's my
Goodfellas is-
fault.
That's your
Goodfellas
vote.
will be a
That's my
wild card
fault.
pick this week. I think Goodfellas is a sci-fi movie this week.
Goodfellas is absolutely phenomenal. It's in my top 20. It's just I just have Prisoners higher. All
Could
right,
do
number
Mafia at some
2
point.
matchup. We're gonna go American Psycho versus Top Gun Maverick.
Ooh.
Chase leads
That's
us
a
off.
close one for
Whoa.
me.
Ooh, that is very close. I'm gonna go American Psycho.
Whoa,
I'm
that's
going
tough.
Top Gun.
1-1.
I'd go either Top Gun over that.
Hell
think
no.
for-
Top Gun 1 sucks.
Yeah, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think for pure entertainment, I think I'm going Top Gun.
Wow. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
so
American.
2-1 Top Gun.
I'm gonna go American Psycho.
Holy shit.
I think it's like more of a
Uh,
like interesting character study rather than like just like a straight action movie. I like that more.
Yeah, but it
Jagger, if you don't
sucks.
pick American Psycho, I'm gonna go
American
American
Psycho
Psycho
does not
on you
suck.
because I know you love
It's
that movie.
American Psycho is just like different to be different. It's not,
American
it's not,
Psycho.
it's
Dude,
not,
what?
It's not anything crazy.
Yeah, so
But
Jordan
that's
has
not
a
anything
3-star
crazy.
on it.
It's not
He's got a
good.
3-star.
It's just not enjoyable to watch.
Here's some news.
I'm
Oh my
choosing
God,
American
it's-
Psycho. It is phenomenal. I'm choosing American Psycho.
Thank
3-2.
you.
It's a
Fair.
phenomenal. Just what's a narrator? Like a false narrator. Just
Yeah,
I
like a
love that. And I
unreliable.
think Patrick Bateman's phenomenal. Every scene in it is perfect to me. I've rewatched it probably like 6 times.
Well, you see,
No lie.
Paul.
I feel like it's funnier than it is a good movie. Like I
No,
laugh.
I think
when I
it
watch
both.
is
Like,
so
it is
good.
funny.
It is
No,
so
no,
good.
no.
Yeah, there's aspects. All right, next
So
one.
Yeah.
We're screaming
We're
at
gonna
the.
go social network versus Apocalypse Now.
Oh, this is not even close. Social
You go
Network.
first, son.
Those are 2 all-time movies.
I'm gonna go
I made
Apocalypse.
sure to
That's
pick all
tough.
timers.
I
Well,
love
it's
both
one.
of those.
It's one all-time movie.
1-1.
I love both of those, but yeah, I'll go Apocalypse.
I'm gonna go Apocalypse Now.
Jeez, come on.
2-1.
You always
Apocalypse
you
Now.
I
always
always
quote
quote
it,
the Social Network, always.
and he always misquotes it.
And I always misquote it. Sorry, I think I have to go. I think I have to go to the Social Network.
Boys,
2-2. Everyone has come down.
Jagger's gonna go
Boys.
Apocalypse.
boys, what's going on?
I'm going Social Network.
Oh my
The
goodness.
rewatchability
Wow,
on
I
that
love
film
it.
is
What's
so
going on?
high.
So
I just
good.
rewatched it again. I think Social Network is
Dude, it's so
incredible.
good.
Fincher's best.
I need
It
my
is
fans
incredible.
to
I gotta
tell
rewatch
me.
that to be fair.
They're
I
all
need my
so
fans to
close.
tell me
I
if I'm
have
crazy or
all of
not.
them at 5. I have all of these at 5. It's just nitpicking. Last one is going to be the original Star Wars versus Pulp Fiction.
Okay, well, I haven't seen Pulp Fiction, but I hate
New Hope.
Tarantino. So
A New Hope, right?
A New Hope. A New
Yeah.
Hope.
Hot take. Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction's overrated. Everybody knows I'm a Star Wars guy, but I also think Pulp Fiction is overrated. I'm going Star Wars.
Christian discovered Star Wars a year and a half
Yeah.
ago.
I'm going
Right.
A New Hope.
I figured this one would be easier.
Christian discovered
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars
This
after
one would
COVID
be
hit.
easier.
Star Wars easily.
Schnur, I think it's already 3-0. Sorry, Jordan. I thought you saw
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
I mean, I was
You
gonna go
do
Pulp
definitely
Fiction.
have
It's
to
alright.
watch that.
Wouldn't have voted it anyway.
I was gonna go Pulp Fiction, but fuck me, I guess.
I would have chose.
Yeah,
I
you're
would have
out,
chose
pal.
Star Wars as well. So that one is 4-1. All right. So second round, Prisoners versus American Psycho.
Prisoners.
Prisoners.
That one I'll go Prisoners. Yeah.
Prisoners.
I'm going Prisoners. as well.
Slaughter.
Really.
Slaughter.
Murder, even though it is close.
Prisoners in 4.
That's pretty easy for me.
All
I feel
right.
like.
Social
I agree.
Uh-oh.
What was it, Jagger?
Jagger.
Social Network versus Star Wars. Sorry. Shout out to Rise Wi-Fi.
Wait.
This is A New Hope.
Wait,
Yes.
I thought
They're so
did
different.
you
That's
think?
so
I'll start
hard.
off. This is Social Network pretty easily for me. It's like one of the.
Yeah. I
the
think we need
best.
to look at Star Wars A New Hope as like just individually that movie.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I'm
uh,
trying to get at. Just these movies, not the cultural significance of it.
I'm going
Yeah.
Social Network.
I've always said Star Wars New Hope. I think it's iconic, but I think like as a movie, I think it's like not my favorite personally. So I'll go Social Network.
It's here at Star Wars fan.
Actually, I would go Social Network. Obviously, I love Star Wars so much, but A New Hope is not my favorite Star Wars. So
Yeah, bring out the brooms. I'm choosing Social Network as well. I think it's a better movie standalone.
agreed.
So in our championship, we got Prisoners versus Social Network.
Easy take. Prisoners, 100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Prisoners as
Okay.
well. It's a little closer.
It's tough for me. I love the Social Network.
Social Network's like one of the best scripts ever. Or at least like lauded as that.
That's really tough.
Okay, I'm gonna go Social Network. I love, like, obviously 5 stars, both of them, but for me, like, I'd rather watch the Social Network than like Prisoners over again, like a rewatch. I mean, and that's what I'm gonna go off of.
Jagger, what do you have?
Jagger's got
I'm
Prisoners.
going Prisoners. Yeah.
All right, so Prisoners already won. I'd probably also go Prisoners. It'll be 4-1.
So the real question is, would Goodfellas have won if I just flipped my vote in the beginning?
Dude, Goodfellas
Nah.
is easily the best movie on that
Probably.
list.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
That's not true.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't have
What
been
Goodfellas
fair. I
mean?
haven't seen it. Maybe we should come back to this list in a week. Maybe I'll watch Goodfellas this week.
I like the bracket
Maybe.
segment.
Yeah, I
I
guess
want
that's
to do
on
this
me.
again. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
We could do it again.
No, don't get me. I want to say
All
something
right.
before we move on.
Go ahead.
Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas. The oh my God, I can't think of the word. Crime. What is it? Mafia. Mafia movies are like
Gangsta.
probably
Yeah.
like my favorite or second favorite genre, close with sci-fi. And I think there's just better movies than Goodfellas. I don't think it's the best.
Which well, I mean, I'm
What
assuming
is your favorite?
Godfather.
Yeah, what's your
But,
favorite
like-
mob?
I like Godfather. I think The Departed is honestly better.
You like
I love it. I think-
Sopranos?
It's a mafia one. Yeah.
Ugh, disgusting. Sopranos is
crazy.
horrible.
You guys
All
are
right,
crazy
so
for that.
Prisoners is our winner. We'll do more of those in the future. So now we're gonna get into some trivia. I have done something special for this week because I didn't want to just do another top 10 list.
I'm scared.
So I hope this goes well. I really hope this does, not like the Jeopardy that you'll never see. So we're gonna
What
do
has not
5
gone well for you?
questions. The Jeopardy. We're gonna do 5 questions based on sci-fi movies that are extremely gettable. I'm telling you that they are.
Okay.
So Chase, Christian, and Jordan are playing as a team. You can use phone.
I love it.
No. You can use Phonishner twice out of the 5
Oh,
questions.
I like this.
Bonus Schnurr.
Bonus Schnurr.
So you 3 have 1 minute to
Okay.
come up with an answer and get me the answer. If you don't get it I'll count it down. If you don't give me the answer by the 1 minute, you don't get it.
Ooh, this is
Okay.
exciting.
And then an additional 30 seconds if you call in the Schnurr. So
Wait, hang on.
you
So
can take your time.
we get to
Wait.
it's
Let
5
me
questions?
get through this first, and then I'll get to you
Okay.
after.
Yeah.
So you have a minute, and then you have the 30 seconds with the phone Schnurr. So if you guys get 3 out of 5 right, I will buy each one of you to rent one movie, $4 max. If you do not get 3 out of 5, you have to buy 2 of mine.
Deal.
I think that's fair.
It's fair.
Okay.
So now you can let me get some
Yeah.
what are your questions.
Two of
Um,
them
Stakes.
between 3 of us.
if they phone a Schnurr, do I give the answer or
Yeah.
do I just like hint
Yeah,
them at it?
you are a part of the team. If
Okay.
you
Ooh,
want to hint them
Schnurr.
at it and lead them, if you want to lead on the tenseness,
Chase, you
But-
nervous?
Let's
to
go,
preface-
boys.
to preface,
A little bit, because
Schnurr
you know
has
why I'm
seen
nervous?
so much, and
Why are you
we did a
nervous?
Jeopardy that'll never be
Hold on.
sent out, and Schnurr won like 2,000, and the second closest is like Chase with like a negative 100.
We got
So-
murdered.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
I'm a little
Chase,
nervous
why are you
because
nervous?
I wanted to make a pick that wasn't streaming, but I think that the stakes are a little higher now. So now I wanna let's do it.
Am I in on
Okay,
this?
let's do it.
Am I in this
So-
bond? Like, would you rent a movie for me too? Or
Yes,
am I
I'll
just-
rent a movie for you, and
Okay.
then 2 of you guys are literally splitting up $8 for me. I'll pay you for each for.
That changes a
I
lot.
just figured I had some stuff.
I
Let's
like
do
this.
Question number 1, and I'm going to count down. I'm going to tell you 10, and then I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you have to get an
Okay.
answer before that. All right. Question number 1. How much time does 1 hour on Miller's planet equate to on Earth?
Oh man.
Time starts now.
I remember that scene. I remember the dialogue, but
Isn't it a year?
Can we talk it over or
Come
no?
on.
Like,
Go,
yeah,
go,
we have
yeah,
to
you
talk
guys,
over
you
it.
guys are a
guys,
team.
I think it's like 7 years is 1 minute or like something. Like I think it's like crazy.
It has to be in the years.
You
'Cause they
said you
only-
said 1 minute or 1 hour, Jagger.
1 minute.
1 minute.
I said 1 hour, but it is one or
1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay,
1
so
hour.
let's think.
1
How
hour. 1
long
hour.
were
1
they
hour.
there?
1 hour. 1 hour. 1 hour. 1 hour. 1 hour. 1 hour. I'll
What
stop.
they
I'll
were-
give you an extra 30 minutes. Yeah, 1 hour makes more sense.
Okay.
1 hour in
1
middle of
hour.
this planet. Yes.
Okay, so I remember like the ticking in it was like the ticking represented something.
I
don't
think
know if
they
it
were
was-
there for like 2 or 3 hours. And how long did the characters age?
I think it was like
25, 30 years?
yeah, in that range.
I-
Maybe like 11 years?
I don't think it's.
I
I
think
literally-
Schnur knows.
Seconds.
I think
Jeez.
Schnur knows the answer to this question.
Jeez, I sent this to you on Instagram like
I
a couple
know.
weeks ago.
I know you did.
And
Jagger,
we
am I
get
allowed
to.
to tell them if I
10
know it or not
seconds.
before?
No.
Oh.
10 seconds.
How many do we have to get right?
5,
3 out of 5?
4,
3, yeah.
3.
I think we go 7. I think we go 7.
7.
Two.
7.
7 years.
1. The correct answer, 7 years.
Let's go.
I
Let's
told
go,
you. I
boys.
told you it was
That's
7
big.
years. Let's go.
Let's go,
It's my favorite
boys.
movie ever for a reason.
There is
Let's go.
1.
That would have been crazy if you didn't get that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I specifically chose her for that. Question. And you have to tell me like before, like you call in Schnur, and Schnur cannot say if he knows the answer or not. You have to say it before the minute.
Dude, that's a
Okay.
huge guess.
Question
by
number
the way.
2. Who cameos as a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens?
Like an actor?
Cameos as a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens. It was
Like
very
Tamora
cute.
Morrison, but he plays all the clones. But also, they're not clones at that point.
No, The Force Awakens.
Yeah, they're not clones at that point. That I don't know.
I don't.
Guys, I don't know that one. And Schnur doesn't look confident right now.
I think we might. I think we.
We need to get how many right? 4?
3.
3.
Do we just take the
I
L
gave
on
you-
I
this
think
one?
we take the L
Yeah,
here.
up
I
and
think we
out.
throw out a random guess and we take the L.
Yeah.
Let's hold on. Let's
'Cause
think
I'm-
about who could be in the Star Wars
15
universe.
seconds.
A
10
stormtrooper.
seconds.
What's Captain Phasma's name? The actress. I don't know. We'll just go with her.
5,
I don't
4,
From Game of
3,
Thrones.
2,
Brianna Toth.
1. Brianna Tarth is not an acceptable answer. The correct answer was Schnur. Do you know it?
I have no idea.
Thank God.
It was Daniel Craig.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
Never have gotten.
I
that.
thought I was like widely known around the time when it came out. He was in the interrogation scene with Rey. He was the stormtrooper who gets told, who gets like first mind controlled by her.
Wow.
Cool.
1
Boys,
for
thank
2.
God we got question 1. That's
All right,
all.
so
I'll
we
say.
I
have
wish they would
two-
have given him more of a role.
We have 2 phone Schnurs, so if we don't know this one, we should use one.
I have a question. When we phone a Schnur, is it a little bit of dialogue amongst the 4 of us, or is it just
Yeah, he's
Schnur
just
has
As
to
soon
give
as
us the answer?
Schnur is called in, he's on the team.
Okay.
As soon as he
Alright.
calls in, he's on the team, and you get an additional 30 seconds of the clock.
All right, let's hear it.
Question number 3. What is the original Jurassic Park island called?
Chase.
Dude, I haven't seen Jurassic Park in
This
like,
is disappointing.
in years.
This is disappointing.
I think Schnur would know this. I'm not
And
gonna
I thought
lie.
these were too easy. I thought these were too easy.
I think Schnur would know this. I think we call in Schnur.
I mean, is it Jurassic Park?
No.
No.
30 seconds.
I think we call in Schnur, guys.
We're gonna have let's think about it for the 30 seconds and use up the time though.
Yeah.
You have to call in a Schnur before the minute. Just letting you know.
Like we can call him at like 3
15
seconds.
seconds.
Let's just call him.
Dude, I'm
We have
disappointed
no
in
idea.
myself. I love Jurassic Park too.
Let's just call him. There's no way we're gonna have an idea.
7, 6,
Phone a Schnur.
5. All right, the phone is Schnur. The time has been stopped.
I have
You
no
ready?
idea.
Oh!
2, 1. Go.
I have no idea.
Brutal.
I haven't seen Jurassic Park in a
I
long
thought you guys would
time.
know
Yeah.
this.
Me
I would've
too.
thought
I
you said
haven't
Christian
seen
was
it in
like
like
Jurassic Park.
forever.
When you hear it, you're just gonna like it's gonna click. You're like, fuck me,
It's like a real
dude.
place. Like fucking
I don't
Skull
want to give
Island,
anything out yet.
King Kong Skull Island.
Tahiti. Give me Tahiti.
Tahiti, final answer.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, final answer.
Jurassic final answer.
The Lost World.
You
Jurassic
only get
final
one
answer.
final answer.
Jurassic final answer.
Jurassic final
The
answer.
Lost World.
The island was called Isla Nublar.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, Lars Nootbaar.
I was
Dude,
never getting that.
Sounds familiar.
Really?
No, I have no
I haven't
idea.
seen the movie
woman-
in years.
that
How-
woman
I
on
just
in the
figured you guys are
TikTok
such big-
comments.
Yeah. She'd
That
give
woman
me
in the
fucking
TikTok comments who was
pissed.
giving me shit. She's looking real good right now.
Yeah, she's gonna
She is.
freak out.
How many times in the movie do they say that? The name of the island.
It is mentioned in every movie. It is mentioned in
Okay.
every movie.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen him.
I figured
That's
that's very
bad.
gettable.
Sci-Fi too.
I haven't seen him in forever.
Yes, I looked it
Guys.
up. Jurassic Park is sci-fi because they made them in a lab and all that.
Let's lock in.
So you need to get the
because
next two right.
You need
We
the next
wasted a
two.
phone of Schnur.
And we have
it
only
didn't
one
work.
phone now. So we need to get one on our own.
And we have to get the next
Lucky
two
for
right.
you, this is the easiest question yet.
Oh, we definitely
Question
not gonna get it.
number 4. What character speaks the first line in Star Wars? Time starts now.
It's C3PO. That's not my final answer, but I believe it's C3PO. Can you guys attest?
Yes, I can because
Sounds
it starts
right.
off in the sand, I believe. And I
believe it's
literally just started reading my A New Hope book too.
I think it's C3PO.
I want to agree. The only other thing I could think of is the other
30
opening scene is
seconds.
them with Princess Leia on the ship with Vader and all the other.
Oh my God! Wait, no, it opens up in space, doesn't it?
It's either Leia or it's C3PO.
No, dude.
15 seconds.
Fuck. It's
I want to say it's C3PO though.
no. I don't think it is. I think it's Vader.
7,
No.
6,
It's not Vader.
5,
No,
4,
I want to say
3,
C3.
2.
All right, C3. C3 final answer.
C3.
We need to get one in.
C3 final answer. It does start out on the ship, but it starts out with two buddies walking down the hallway. The correct answer is C3PO.
Oh.
Go
You know-
boys!
Hang on. Now that was almost bad because
That was
we
bad.
got C3PO, but we didn't get C3PO in the right location.
No, yeah.
That could have been bad.
We got lucky. To be
But
It
honest.
starts
the
off
o-
with them as like, yeah, it starts off as
Excuse me.
Well, it starts off obviously with the spaceships going by, but then it cuts to the hallway where their two are walking while all the rebels are running the other way.
Okay, you're right.
That
and
one
then
was fucking cookies.
and then Leia gives them the
Oh,
A New
damn.
Hope recording and they go to the sand. Okay, let's go.
If you didn't get
I'm
that
very
question,
glad
I,
that it comes down to this.
I pulled through.
I would have
Chase
parked
pulled
my car
there.
in your bedroom.
Yeah, that was insane. The guy goes, "Yeah, it starts out on the desert."
See, it's like
Doesn't.
if I don't know.
The book does. The book I
Not
think
the
starts out
movie.
in the sand.
I wonder if you got like I thought you guys also could get tripped up. You're like, is he talking about like Star Wars like actually starting out like Phantom Menace? I was hoping you guys would get there for a
Oh,
second.
that would have been
Oh.
bad.
That'd
All right. All comes down to this. Question number 5. I'm going to give you within 7 miles, or no, let's not do 7. I'll give you within
God.
5 miles per hour both ways.
I know it.
I do too.
Before you even ask the question, I know it.
Back
88
to the
miles per
Future.
hour.
Yep.
Do you want to lock
88
it in?
Wait. Let's hear the question first. Let's hear the
Let's get
question
the question.
first.
What speed does the DeLorean reach to jump
Okay.
back to the future?
88 miles per hour.
88
GG.
miles per hour. Game over.
You
Lock
guys
it in.
have won the trivia. I will Venmo each of you $4.
Let's go.
to
Jacob,
rent
do you see
one
that right
movie
there?
A piece.
Big.
I was
Dude,
hoping
should
that
let
you
us
wouldn't
right now.
know, and I could call you out and be like a fake fan or something like that.
1.21 gigawatts.
You can still call them now because they didn't know that Star Wars opens up in space.
Yeah, that's insane.
It took
That
me a
opening
second.
shot.
That was
We should
bad.
call it even.
Yeah.
We should call it even.
That was bad. I don't know how none of us picked up on that.
It's like different when you're under the pressure of like the question. I feel like it's you second guess yourself.
Yeah.
By
make
the
us
way,
like 5
oh my
quick.
God.
Skittles gummies. Whoa.
Oh my God. I've been
Free
eating them
ad?
this whole episode. They're so good.
I was wondering what you were
Alright.
eating.
All right, let's go into movie picks. Next week we're gonna do sci-fi episode. So
Let's do it.
first, Schnur, can we get a little rundown of who's had their movie picked so far?
Yeah, so right now, me and Christian are in the lead of picks with 2 each. Jordan and Chase each have 1 picked, and you are sitting at 0.
Yes, I am. All right, Jordan, let's get your first pick.
Am I going? Oh, just one?
Yep. And give a little synopsis or something.
Oh,
It's
wait.
different now that
that
that Jagger's
intrigues.
paying for my movie.
Oh,
I'm gonna
wait.
have to.
Yeah, I agree.
It is.
Wait, are we
it
doing
is-
one each? Wait,
That's
I'm
cruel.
confused.
Yeah,
That's a
we each
cruel
pick
Yeah,
friend.
We each do one,
We're
right?
doing one each.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I got 3.
It's like backup options.
True. No one's gonna pick these movies though.
Can it?
No. I'll go. Me and Schnur have seen it, but I'll go Super 8. J.J. Abrams
Oh, wow.
directs. I don't think Chase, Christian, or Jagger have
I
seen it.
I've seen
haven't.
that. I've seen that.
Oh, you
I
have.
haven't seen it.
I'll still go it.
Okay.
Screw it. Very good movie. Yeah, I don't really have like
Super
a
8.
synopsis. Kind of. I mean, you can look it up. It's very good.
All right. I'm not gonna look it up.
You want
because
me to
we're
give a
picking
synopsis
movies
for you,
now.
Jordan?
Yeah, give a synopsis for me. Schnur.
Wait,
I don't
really
feel like looking
quick,
it up.
is that the one with the train crash?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like the
that's
first
like
the
20
story.
minutes of the movie.
It's like a Spielberg-esque, like kids with like in this town, and there's like an alien like thing that comes. It's
All
like,
right.
It's good.
yeah.
Christian, let's hear yours.
I'm stuck between 2. I'm gonna tell you the 2, and then I'm gonna tell you which one I'm gonna pick.
Really hoping you're picking the one that like I'm thinking about, so I don't have to take it.
Yeah,
I
for
watch
real.
both.
I know which one you're thinking of, I think, is the original Blade Runner, but I actually want to go with the newest Blade Runner. So it's between that and because I haven't seen it, and this might be a shock, but Avatar, the first Avatar. Um,
Ugh.
One.
Choose the
I-
first.
I don't like Avatar. I've seen the first one time. The second one in theaters, literally fell asleep 'cause I thought it was terrible.
Hang on. You were in Avatar 2 and Christian was literally, I promise you, I'm not making this up. Christian says I like to make things up. He was literally reading IMDb reviews while we're watching the movie.
Yeah, that's all Christian does.
Meanwhile, that movie's incredible.
Yeah, that movie is great.
Yeah, Spider's real good.
Christian, make a
Spider,
pick.
Spider sucks, but that movie's unbelievable.
I'm gonna go Avatar. First
God,
Avatar.
oh, damn
That
it.
And I-
sucks.
I think it's on Disney Plus, so it's free to stream.
That's a great
I would
movie.
have
We got
picked Blade Runner.
shitters
I've
this
been wanting
week.
to watch Blade Runner forever.
I would love to rewatch that, so I hope you guys end up picking it.
I have tried to watch Blade Runner 2049 8 times and fell
This
asleep
could've been the
every
week.
single one.
It
This
could have
could've
been the week.
week.
Could have been the week.
That's brutal.
I mean, you could pick
Avatar's
it.
on
Chase.
Hulu.
I got to go with my picks. I can't.
It's fair.
So I was really hoping that wasn't even one of the picks that, well, Blade Runner 2049 could be one of my picks. But Christian, I was hoping you were going to pick Alien Covenant. So we could have done that.
No!
Too late.
You can go
no!
back.
Too
I
late.
was-
You can go back.
I was
Can't
hoping
go back.
you
You
can go
wouldn't because
back.
you
It
have
is
to watch
our
the movies
show.
first.
It is
It's
our
not.
show.
It's not his pick.
No, you
though.
don't have to.
It's not his
You
pick.
don't have to.
Can't go back.
Why
Locked
can't you go
in.
back? It's our
sticking
show.
with my
We make
guns.
up
I'm
the
going.
rules.
I'm
Jagger
going
just
with
wants to
Avatar.
watch that instead.
I want to watch both. I wanted
I
to watch both bad.
Damn, I don't know why I didn't think of that.
I didn't think you were going to say 2049.
All right, Chase, you're up.
I am going to
Jagger's
go
up.
Blade Runner 2049 though.
Ooh.
That's
it's
your
in my
pick?
top. Yeah,
Jagger's
it's
pick?
in my top 10 favorite movies of all time now, and I really want you guys all to see it. So,
Wow, that's a
finally
big
get
pick
through it.
then.
I'll finally get through.
All right. So I, similar to Christian, have a couple of options. I'm gonna list them to you guys, and then I'll tell you what I want. My options were E.T. Haven't seen E.T. since I'm probably in elementary school. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, another Spielberg movie. Haven't seen it. And the third one was gonna be Aliens, because I've been also wanting to watch Aliens forever, but I felt like it wasn't right because I don't know, Jordan. I don't know if you've seen Alien. Have you seen Alien?
I've never seen any of them, and I
Okay,
honestly
so
have
yeah, it
zero
wouldn't have been
interest.
fair then. I wouldn't want to just throw you into Aliens. So, I'm gonna go with Close Encounters of the Third Kind because it's Spielberg.
Let's
I've never
go.
seen it. I've been wanting to see it forever. Let's do it. Let's lock it in.
that was on my first list before I narrowed them down. So I'm glad you picked that.
I
I
think
can't
that's also
believe-
our first Spielberg pick too, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
If it gets picked.
If it gets picked, yeah. Thank
Looks
you.
like that's on Prime. possibly.
I just figured someone would pick 2001: Space Odyssey, and I'm kind of disappointed no one did.
Please
but
no.
I'm not. I'm still not going to.
Thank you.
They're not worthy of that greatness.
Dripping sweat.
Yeah, they can
Dripping.
wait. They'll get there eventually. So again, like, I had a lot on here. I had like 9 picks. And I was
Jesus.
debating because I was debating because I didn't know what to do because I was like, I don't want to pick 2001 because I figured someone else would. It's like super obvious, and there's other things that I want to watch because I just watched that recently. And I was between like renting and a streaming one, but now that the renting is more of an option because of
Only
that trivia.
one. Only one.
I know. And Chase said it. Chase said it. I'm gonna go with Tenet. I'm picking Tenet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited about
Yes.
that.
I
I've
really,
been
Tenet's
wanting to
great.
rewatch that.
really want to
I've been
rewatch
wanting to
Tenet.
rewatch
Hold on,
that.
hold on.
I
Are we
did
sure?
Let's
Are we
go.
sure that's sci-fi? I haven't seen it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
literally all like
Yes.
time travel and
You haven't seen it? How do
it's
you not want to watch another Christopher Nolan movie then that you haven't
All-
seen?
Because all I hear is it's terrible.
More
Yeah.
people are coming around to
Exactly.
it. I
Because
wanna
all
watch
you
it
do is
again.
read IMDb reviews. That's all you
Hold
do.
on, hold on. That's the consensus. That's the consensus. So
The consensus is that me and our good friend Ryan went to see it opening night, and it was fucking incredible. It was a masterpiece.
and the other
I
consensus
watched
is
it.
everybody says it's terrible. So
I watched it shortly after it came out, and I was not a fan because I thought it was just like so confusing just for the sake of being confusing. But I really want to give it a second shot.
It's
I've been
great.
wanting to, and
I'm
it's off
excited about
streaming, and I've been
that.
upset. But
I've seen it 5 times.
All
I'm
right.
ready
What's
for
the
6.
runtime out of curiosity?
2
It's
hours
long,
and
right?
30 minutes. I'm
Dude,
looking
Oh,
it
that's
up.
not that bad.
Probably
That's
too
not that
soft.
bad.
All right, let's sure, let's take it with you. Let's give your 3 that aren't yours. So who you leaving out?
Can we list out
Okay,
the 5 again?
So Jordan picked Super 8. You picked Shitty Avatar. I picked Blade Runner 2049. Chase picked Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And Schnur picked Tenet.
Do you not like Avatar?
I do. I just really don't
I
want to
don't
watch
want
that.
to watch Avatar. Yeah.
And I know, like, if you would have picked Blade Runner 49, that would have, and then I could have picked Covenant.
I always
Would've
forget we're
perfect.
voting for 2 picks, right?
3. So
Three.
you're gonna choose
Okay.
3.
You said the same thing
You're
in the last
leaving.
episode.
I know. I
You're
always
leaving.
forget.
You're leaving. You're only leaving one of the movies out, and you can't pick your own.
Okay.
So
I don't know
Schnur,
why.
let's go with you. Let's give your top 3.
all right, Blade Runner 2049.
Jagger just picked that
Okay.
so he can get a selection for this week. Finally.
It's one of my favorite movies of all
God.
time.
This is a movie. It's another one I have to rewatch.
This is a terrible
It's so
lineup.
good.
Oh, Jacob, please.
I'm gonna go with Close Encounters, Chase.
Oh,
Let's go.
And I did watch that
God.
recently. It's a good one, and I want you to watch that. And then I'll go Avatar third.
Thanks, Schnur.
Chase, let's go back to you.
Pity vote.
been wanting to watch Blade Runner forever. Gonna go with that. Gonna go. I wanted to go Super 8. I don't know yet. I'm gonna definitely go Tenet. And now yeah, I'm gonna go Super 8 because I don't want to watch Avatar.
Okay.
So that was
Jordan.
so you picked
Yeah,
Blade Runner.
so
also,
Blade
Chase, or-
Runner, Tenet, and Super 8.
All right.
I'm going Blade Runner, Tenet, Close Encounters. Oh, I can't wait to have a heated argument with Christian about Tenet next week. I can't wait.
Christian,
Are we
let's
sure
hear
we can even
yours.
have an argument? Everybody says nobody knows what happens in that movie. So
Yeah, but
are
I
you sure
do.
we can talk about it?
You do.
It
I
might just be
do.
you talking. You know what?
This was the
Let's debate. Blade Runner, Tenet,
Close
and Close
Encounters.
Encounters.
Thank God.
okay.
Meanwhile, you
A
don't
lot
even
of,
want to watch.
like, I feel
Super
like we
8.
didn't get like full like sci-fi space movies here without only Blade Runner.
Yes,
I
it's
mean,
a
Close Encounters.
weird
Like,
list.
it's not what I was expecting.
No one wanted to.
I am going to go Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Tenet, and I'll go Avatar. So the 3 movies we will be watching this week, all with 4 votes each: Blade Runner 2049, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. and
Stop
Tenet.
dabbing, please.
I'm sorry to the fans for that lineup.
What was the third one?
Tenet. I really look forward to the rest. Like, I
That's a
think
good
I'll watch this
lineup,
week
bro.
Again.
Dude, I think all of them are like 3 hours, which is awesome too.
That's a good lineup.
It's awesome.
We will have 2001 on here eventually.
I will never
We
watch that
will.
movie ever.
Have you ever seen it or like
Um,
started it?
I've started it. You know what happened after that?
I have no
Started
idea,
sweating immediately.
but you'll be watching it. You'll be watching it eventually on here.
Jagger, you've seen Tenet, right? Is there sweat potential in Tenet or no? Am I
Yes.
Sweat
confused?
potential.
Yes.
There's
No
no
sweat
sweat
potential.
potential. You're just
Edge of your seat.
confused.
Edge of your
But
seat.
I
Whole movie.
think it's a good watch. Besides John David Washington, he is terrible.
What?
He is terrible.
like,
He's a
supposed to
terrible
be, like,
actor.
Bad in it. I don't know. That's why I want to give it a second shot.
He's just bad in general.
He's a great protagonist. Ah.
All right.
Isn't Bobby Pattinson in Tenet?
Unbelievable.
Absolutely,
Bobby Pat
Pattinson's in it.
is-
That's
Yeah.
another reason I want to rewatch it because I've been like
Bobby Pat's
loving
great.
Pattinson lately.
He's amazing.
The jury's still out on Pattinson for me.
No,
You already
That's
you haven't seen Lighthouse.
insane.
Yeah,
Or Good
That's
Time.
insane.
You haven't seen Lighthouse or Good Time. Gotta
Good
watch them
Time's
both.
great.
Right.
Also, this movie
Alright.
called The Batman. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah, but it's like the Batman.
He's also great in
Good.
Remember Me. Have you guys seen Remember Me?
Remember Me is good.
No, but I
No,
know
I feel like-
Never seen
I know the ending of it.
I feel like you guys would have like put that in the box of like Jordan movie.
1000%.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
All
Let's go,
right.
movie.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to episode 3. We'll see you back for episode 4.
Peace.
Peace.
So, yeah.
See ya.
See you guys.